hello. All right.
I can
Oh,
hear you.
there we go. Okay. The stream seems like the sound was being a little buggy, but we've fixed it. And welcome everybody. We're here. We're about to get started on this first game. Not this first game, but this first day of the scouting combine. This team ambition times Dorado Gaming. I know it's not times, but uh, effort that hopefully we'll be able to showcase some new talent to the plat scene. We will be on this stream. We'll be watching the first game of every hour. So, like for example, we're going to be watching Hooked's team versus Hybrid's team. As soon as I hop in the lobby, we're actually going to get into the lobby pretty soon ourselves. Um, Give me 1 second. But we can kind of take a look at the players that we're gonna watch right now. I mean, on one side we have Peels, Peakley, Tough, Swift Duelist, and Gunny Thick, and on the other side we have Firelight, Something Corny, uh, who is Easy, Noctisera, and Griffin. So a bit of a mix of new and old face that we have here.
Yeah, there's quite a bit of new blood, or at least people I haven't seen before. So I'm super excited to see how these games are going to go. These are, I believe, randomly made teams, so it's not like anybody is going to have an advantage in terms of like team necessarily. So these games are probably going to be a bit hectic. The draft's going to be a bit weird, but the whole point of this is to showcase basically either the mechanics or the micro skill of a lot of these players, and hopefully they find a team either for Dorado or Team Ambition or maybe other orgs. If you guys are out there watching, this is some of the best talent that we have in Plat.
Yeah, and like a lot of new players that we're seeing here, some of them that are trying to make that jump from gold. So it should be interesting. It should be interesting to watch this. I am excited to watch some of these new players get to show off their skills and in a relatively competitive environment. So it'll be really cool. And like you said, obviously Team Ambition and Dorado Gaming are here watching. We have our reps. We're hosting the thing, but a lot of orgs are here, and two universities are actually watching. Looking for talent. So it's shaping up to be a pretty big opportunity for everybody involved. Depending on what their ambitions are, I'm sure that there will be something for everybody.
Yeah, and we do have some familiar faces here. I'm just going to touch over a few of them, like some of the Dorado guys. We have Tough Daddy. He, I believe, was on Epsilon this last split. Got second place in APL, so very good, very well decorated mid laner. Easy, I know him. He played with me on New World for a little bit, and I believe he might be on a TA team currently. Griffin, obviously one of the Dorado OGs right now, picked up by Nuffies back in the day, and he's just been slamming Plat as a new and up and coming support. Peels, that's a name I'm familiar with. We even have the Mint player in here. There's just there's just a great mix of just well-known players and not so well-known players. So as soon as we get to the game, I'm going to be super excited to see these players really go at it. I think even if you aren't here necessarily to get picked up by a team, you're still here to be competitive, and I think that's just going to make these games way more entertaining.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see these teams go out there and put out their best efforts. Obviously some people, I think, like especially people that are representing Dorado and TA directly, not necessarily looking for teams, but I think they're still really useful to have in these kind of events, just to provide a barometer, not only for themselves, but for everybody watching. For example, like Carino said, we have Griffin, Tough Daddy, two very established players from Dorado, and if let's say hypothetically someone was to Goomba stomp them in this combine, we'd know that this guy's probably the real deal, that they have something going on. So we have barometers from both orgs here, and I'm sure that we're gonna get a pretty good view at these players. We're gonna get to see everybody play 2 to 3 times, and I'm excited to do so. We're getting into lobby, and I'm sure we'll start the draft soon, hopefully. But are there any players that stand out to you that I don't know if you had really had a chance to take a look at the players too much? But is there anybody that you might be on the lookout for tonight?
I mean, just some of the old guard, obviously, they're here representing their org. So, I mean, I would say, like you said before, they're sort of like the gauge for everyone. Like, if you see somebody out hands Griffin in the bot lane, or you see somebody out hands Tough Daddy, those are the players to look out for. But honestly, a lot of these players, they're brand new faces, and I don't necessarily know them very well. So, if anything, that's a good thing because I think breathing life into the competitive plat, gold, diamond environment is just going to be really healthy for the scene.
Yeah, and I mean it's gonna be it's I think it's more important than anything right now to get that new breath of life into the scene because of these MMR changes. What we're seeing here is a lot of players kind of climbing up from the gold scene. Trying to make their name in the platinum scene, either after having dominated in for a while in the gold scene, they're ready to make that jump. In my opinion, from what I've seen as an owner, is that the jump from gold to plat is not as smooth in my opinion as the jump from plat to diamond. So I think that with these MMR changes, we're going to see a big shift in the platinum scene in these upcoming splits, as uh, people's ranks and MMRs kind of normalize and they kind of fall into their new ranks, into this new kind of distribution that Riot's set up. And I'm excited to see the future of plat, how it's going to set up. Hopefully we get some exciting new faces to kind of fill in the void of the former plat superstars, quote unquote, that have climbed up. They've gone sky up into diamond or even higher. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be really important and it's going to be healthy for the scene to see this.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point that you actually just brought up is, the difference between gold and plat compared to plat to diamond. It's definitely like a bigger gap from gold to plat because I feel like in gold you're sort of just like you're learning little bits of macro, but it's mostly a micro game. You're trying to outhands your opponents. You're trying to just play the game better fundamentally, and then once you get into plat, the skill starts to like even out a little bit more. So players tend to start looking towards other ways to gain advantages in competitive games. Things like macro wise, drafting, trying to just play the game on a higher level. And then once you go from platinum to diamond, you're just kind of sort of refining those skills that
Yeah,
you already learned while
yeah.
you were in the plat competitive scene.
Mhm.
So, even more so, I think for all the gold players that are trying to make that jump into plat, this is a great opportunity for them to sort of learn from some of our older veterans in the scene, like Tough Daddy. Like if he calls for you to like move to a lane, you'll learn sort of the more macro style movement that the platinum and diamond competitive teams use.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's really is it like you said, it's really about refining when you head into diamond. I think that personally from what I've seen, from our experience with the players that I've seen, it's really just getting those really small skills to make that like jump from that top 10 top 9% of players into that top 3 2%, whereas from gold you're going from the top like 25 30% to the top 10. The gaps, just by the numbers, it's just such a big gap. And really I think that there's this kind of big hump between gold and plat, in terms of these fundamental skills that is probably what kept them in gold. And I'm excited to see how these players have grown and what they have to offer for this new kind of platinum scene that has a lot of maybe for lack of a better word, sitters gone now, for people that have been there for a while.
Yeah, these MMR changes, like you said before, are just definitely just shaking up the scene a lot. A lot of the old guard that were throughout the plat and plat diamond kind of scenes have already moved up towards masters. So yeah, I mean this is just the new guard coming in, replacing the old, and super excited to see what they can show versus some of the old veterans.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting. I'm hoping to see some surprises. Obviously, no ill will against the players that we love and know, but it'd be pretty interesting to see watching Matt G get trounced by one of the new ADCs, watch Tough Daddy get Lane Kingdoms or something, right? Not obviously don't want to watch that. It's not going to be I'm not going to be cheering against my boys, but it'd still be exciting. It's something really cool to watch. These new faces come and make a name for themselves. So sorry Tough, sorry Matt G. I'm not praying on your downfall or anything, but if someone does come and trounces you tonight, they might be taking your spot. No, I'm just kidding. I think the lobby is almost filled up. The last ADC, the last player for one of the teams finally showed up. So I'm gonna be actually switching over to the uh, to the the draft little screen. Give me 1 second though. I need to get rid of some things because they don't apply here. The team names don't really matter. It's just blue versus red. There's no score. So I'm gonna let's go. All right. So I think we should get started on the draft pretty soon. Again, there's no team names because they're just team one, team two, team three. Not very exciting. I don't want to switch them over and over. So ignore those artifacts from our usual drafting screen. But hopefully they get started pretty soon. This lobby, like I said, let me find it really quick. What is it called? So on blue side we have Peels, Swift Duelist, Noxera, Mint Peakley, and I'm not sure who the last person is again. I think it's Gunny Thick. And then on the other side it's Firefight, something corny, easy. I think Mad G's filling in maybe, or did Mad G leave? I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, it looks like Noxera was replaced by Matt G for this game.
Yeah, I think Noxera made his way back now though. So I gotta kind of figure out what's going on here. Yeah, they're struggling to get organized. They might be missing an ADC. I'm not sure.
I think they're missing Tough now.
You're right. I think they are missing Tough. Okay. Okay, let's see what's going on. Hopefully they get started because I do want to see these drafts. I want to see what these people are kind of want to see, what ideas these people have for draft. Hold on. So they are missing Tough Daddy?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, I think he's in a custom game right now from what I'm seeing on
That's not good.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there, but pretty interesting. Also, if everybody that's just tuned in and wants to watch multiple streams, if you haven't clicked on if you haven't set up a multiple stream, setup, make sure you guys are also watching Team Ambition stream and CCS's stream. Who's thanks to them for helping out. Oh, he's in the call, but he's not in the lobby. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. Okay, well, I mean, as long as everybody's in call, I guess that's what really matters.
Yeah,
I guess he was
caught up in some kind of different other game or something like that. Oh,
there he is. Okay, yeah, making us bite our tongue. But again, like I said, I will post the links up for the other streams really quickly, so you guys can also take a look and watch them. Because those are the other streams, the other two games happening tonight. Again, we will be streaming every single match that happens tonight. The first one right now at 7, it hasn't started yet, but 7, and then at 8 and 9, we're gonna have 3 different matches, and hopefully we get some exciting games. The teams are gonna continuously be randomized so that people don't get the same teammates over and over. For better or for worse, you don't keep getting your teammates that you're stomping with, or that unfortunately might have not had the best games, and might have done what some might consider inting. I'm sure no one's trying to int on purpose, but I'm sure that the variety will be very useful for everybody trying to show off their skills.
Yeah, it also gets them out of their comfort zone as well. For example, if a player maybe is friends with another and they just so happen to be on the same team and then they perform really well, their comms are really good, and then all of a sudden you stick them on a team with 4 players they've never even met in their life before, like it pulls them out of their comfort zone and it pulls them into sort of a new spotlight, and it's basically saying like, okay, now we've seen you with your old friends or your old teammates, but can you perform without them? Can you make the right calls? Can you make the right map movements? Can you play the game that you were playing before but with 4 randoms? And that to me is going to show whether or not this player is extremely versatile and whether or not they're truly good.
Yeah, I agree. I think that lack of comfort is really it's something. I won't get too much into our our philosophies behind our own tryouts, but it is definitely something that we are looking out for during our tryouts. Personally for Dorado, is that adversity factor. How people respond to pressure, to adversity. Kind of these intangible things that you can't necessarily see directly on the Rift. I think it's really important, and I think that this format will definitely keep people on their toes. They're not going to get the chance to get comfortable. They're going to be in a brand new situation every series. Well, not series. It's the best of one, but every game that they're going to play tonight. And the best of the best are going to show out, and some might fold, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, I think we're going to start draft any second now. We're just waiting on the blue side to ready up. But once the draft starts, it's going to be extremely interesting to see what the players believe is strong. We do have their op.ggs up, so we'll be able to, talk through some of these bans hopefully and figure out, is this a targeted ban towards one player? Is it towards another? Is it just what's strong in the meta? When you have these sort of teams that are just randomly thrown together, the draft strategy is sort of almost like in the air. Could change at the drop of a hat. It can go from we're going to target ban the new guys, top laners, one trick, maybe target their Fiora, or maybe we're just going to target what's good in the meta right now because we're just trying to get a just stable comp that maybe everybody knows how to play, or maybe we're going to go try for some cheese and we're going to pull out some one tricks, or I just think it's going to be so interesting to see how a random 5 pre-made drafts versus another 5 randoms.
Yeah, I mean that is going to make it a lot more exciting. I feel like you know, when you're watching, established teams in competitive play, even at this level, they got their styles. You kind of know what you're gonna expect. It can get a little dull, especially when you're, looking at maybe death ball teams that really lean into that style. Not to say anything on its effectiveness. I just think that it can get a little bit boring to watch over and over. So it is exciting to see. Maybe what kind of drafts we're gonna get. Maybe some really interesting patchwork drafts from both teams, and hopefully Blue is ready soon. I think that they are probably really indulging themselves in discussing their draft plan. I think hopefully we get an R from them soon. I mean, in this lobby, like you said, we have like we talked about the examples of the veteran faces, Tough Daddy and Griffin. Some of these players are new to me. Pretty much all of them. I recognize Easy. I recognize Peels. Both are consistently solid in plat leagues. I know who Picle is. As owner of Mint and also as a someone that has had a very successful gold uh, career that's trying to make the jump to plat now. I think that that is definitely the type of player that this event has in mind. Um, but hopefully they can get started pretty soon.
Do we have a list of like the or the players that are trying to move up compared to like the old guard, or is it kind of just scrambled about?
No, no. I mean, it's kind of the only real separation that we have here is players that are effectively already part of TA and Dorado and everybody else. We don't really have a hard divide between people that are hopping up from gold or people that are, maybe have played in plat but never have been part of a, necessarily a bigger team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I mean, I don't think that they should be too distinct. I think we should treat them kind of similarly. The people, maybe we have someone like let's say Noxera here or Easy, who are P2 P1 respectively. But enough of that. Draft is actually getting started. Thankfully, it's been we're a little late, but I doubt this will run much longer into the past the hour. So drafts coming out quick. The Annie and the Jarvan coming out almost right away. You'd think JC was in this lobby the way Annie was banned that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, just for a little bit of insight, Griffin's most played in solo queue is the Annie. He has also been spamming the Milio as well, so the two bans are definitely targeted towards him. The Jarvan is a ban for, I believe, Picle, Mint Picle. So it's his #1 played champion. The Zaya ban coming out as well. That's Swift Duels' most played ADC. So it looks like the bans are right away are just targeting, they just look at their OP, they figure out, what is their most comfortable champion, what's the highest win rate, and, they're just trying to take them out, get them out of the comfort zone, which is a good strategy, when you have like these five random players on a team, just getting them off of their comfort and putting them on champions they might not be as comfortable on is probably going to lead to, better results compared to just banning meta.
Yeah, and I mean it looks like yeah, three bans for the bot lane, two of them straight at our very own Griffin. Definitely a support force to be meddled with and reckoned with, sorry. But red side, kind of a variety of bans, jungle, ADC, and the Gangplank a ban against Peels. But the Greg is coming out, the B1. If you couldn't tell, Hooked is drafting. He loves the Gragas flex.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense. The Gragas is very strong in the meta right now. It can it potentially flex to four different lanes. That makes it really powerful tool in drafting. It's a very it can play multiple styles in any team comp. So it's good with diving, it's good with counter engage. So it's just a very strong B1. And it looks like we're going to see on the red
Ooh,
side Zeri Maokai coming down. Just a quick reminder, though, so if you don't know, Yumi is going to be permanently banned for, I believe, the entire scouting combined.
yeah.
Not sure if it's just a player thing or if it's just like is the champion bugged or anything.
I just think that it's getting banned in MSI or something, right? So I think in pro play, it's like banned. So I think it's the same logic, and it's also I don't think people really want to watch support stick on Yumi all day. If possible, probably don't want to see that many Yumi games. So I think that it's both of those things kind of influencing the decision right now.
That
Uh,
makes sense.
but the Zeri Maokai, I'm a very big Maokai fan. I can't stress enough how much I think that champion is good. But the Ash coming out in response, what's your thoughts on the Ash Zeri matchup?
They both have very similar ranges, but the Ashe offers a better laning phase overall, just because of the fact that she can get pushed over the Zeri. She pushes her in. She could sort of move the way she wants to. However, once you hit level 6, if Zeri takes the cleanse, she has the better all-in damage. So it's sort of you're sort of trading strength for weaknesses there. It's not necessarily a direct counter to one another. The Maokai coming out, like you said before, is also pretty good. It's a good counter engage champion. I'm curious to see what support is going to be picked up here because Yumi's gone for the Zeri and Milio's gone for the Ashe, so this support pick is going to matter a lot for the lane down there in the 2v2.
And the
Maybe that.
Thresh coming out, uh, you know, a support champion that has been very dominant, in the recent meta for supports. Kind of a jack of all trades, can be an engage, can effectively serve as an enchanter. The way he can just sit behind his ADC and throw lanterns to keep them safe. So I'm a big fan of the champion. Uh, I am excited to see what red side is going to answer the Thresh pick with, though. Um, Zeri, the Lulu. What do you feel? How do you feel about that?
So Thresh sort of rose in prominence in the meta quite recently, just because he's a counter to a lot of melees and he counters most of the enchanters. So picking him early on just means the Ashe is going to be safe. The Lulu in response, however, she's one of the few enchanters that I think that Thresh can't necessarily beat, and that's only because if she takes things like the Guardian, you can't really pop her, and she's always just going to be a big lane bully. Lulu has one of the strongest laning enchanter or has one of the stronger lanes as an enchanter. So the Zeri Lulu is very, very strong. These two champions work very well together. It's almost on the same level as Zeri Yumi. We see the Wukong ban coming out. I think this is just trying to pinch the jungle pool and try to hopefully get this Gragas into a solo lane.
Yeah, and I mean personally, if I'm seeing this draft, I'm telling my team, Maokai follows Gragas. Gragas goes top, Maokai goes top. Well, I mean, I guess that's pretty much as far as it goes. I think that if the Gragas goes jungle, I guess the Maokai can get top with a good matchup. But I think if we know that the Gragas is gonna go up top, Maokai is just such a feels like a really good answer in my opinion. I really do like the champion into AP, kind of other AP tank champions. All the sustain that he provides, it's just feels like a little too much for Gragas to handle.
Yeah, and the Victor ban coming out makes it so, I think they're just trying to pinch a little bit of the control mages that Red Side could draft R4 or even R5. As of right now, Red Side's got a very strong front to back comp. They've got the Zeri Lulu for the damage, they've got the Maokai for the peel. So they're getting rid of the Fiora, which I think is a very smart answer because taking away Peels' most played champion in solo queue, as well as getting rid of that potential split pushing threat, means that maybe Blue side has to now team fight instead of banking on a very strong solo laner.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they're gonna pick here. Like you said, the Fiora and the Wukong coming out, two very strong lane fighters, lane bullies at the moment. But the Victor, let's see how they close it out. The Cassiopeia coming out. I'm wondering who's gonna blind here for red side.
Yeah, I think it's going to show us a lot on how Red Side's operating, whether or not they're going to be playing for their mid laner or their top laner, whoever they're going to give R5. This is going to end up breaking the Gragas flex because obviously Blue Side has to pick their fourth and fifth pick, which means somebody, hopefully one of the solo laners, is going to get a very strong counter for their lane on R5.
Yeah, and the Syndra blind coming out. I'm a fan, and it also keeps the Maokai flex alive. Kind of threatening the Gragas here. And I've been talking about this Gragas. I mean, this Maokai flex, but it really depends if the top laner on the side of red team plays the Maokai himself.
Yeah, I don't look. Just taking a quick look at Red Side's top laner Firefight, it doesn't look like he's played it recently or if at all. But then again, Maokai is a pretty easy champion, and we're all competitive players here, so maybe he decides he wants to take it out. But I think from the looks of it, that's most likely going to go into the jungle, which means Firefight is probably going to get R5 counter over Peels. So it's going to be very interesting whether or not Peels decides to just blind pick the Gragas in the top lane, as it is a very good neutralizer in that lane. Doesn't really lose lane too hard, and if it does, it kind of just scales and just has a lot of tools. The Sejuani coming out, I believe that's going to go jungle.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're just gonna see the Gragas go up top, and like you said, it's not really showing that this guy plays Maokai top all that much. But we'll see what blue side decides to round out their comp with. What mid laner they decide to pick into Syndra. They might even send the Gragas mid. It is Tough Daddy on blue team, and he has played Gragas mid. So let's see what the last option is here. The Irelia, okay, that is a miserable matchup for Syndra, if I recall correctly, and I like it. It's a really good pairing with Sejuani, and this is looking a little rough for Red. I'm interested in seeing what they decide to round their own comp off with.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the way things have played out so far, the bot lanes of both sides are a little bit even. Maybe blue side has a little bit of a lane prio over Zeri Lulu. It kind of just depends. That's more of a skill matchup. But with an already losing mid lane, and then you have a Maokai jungle. For red side, it's not looking so great for the laning phase alone, but they do have very, very strong team fighting tools. So how they're going to round out this comp, this R5 pick, most likely going to be into the Gragas, but it could be the Sejuani top, but it's going to be very interesting to see what it is, and it's going to be Kled.
Kled, okay. I'm not sure how I feel about that one. I don't know how good Kled is into Gragas, but then again, I don't know how good anybody that's aggressive is really into Gragas generally. What are your thoughts there? I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the pick here, but I'd like to see what you think. Maybe the Kled is going to match the Irelia, but I doubt that.
Oh, actually, you know what? That does make more sense compared to the Kled into the Gragas, because I'm pretty sure the Gragas kind of just neutralizes that lane. Maybe Kled decides to just give up on the lane after a while once he gets a couple items or an item, and then just perma roams. But yeah, I could definitely see the Kled just following the Aurelia and the Syndra just following the Gragas. However, if that does happen and Syndra ends up in the top lane versus Gragas, that is a very, very long lane to be playing into when you have a Sejuani jungler in the enemy team. So if it does go top lane, I
Yeah.
can imagine it being camped and just dying anyway.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I don't think that Syndra's going to want to go into the long lane, even into Gragas. Like you said, the Sejuani will probably make her life very miserable. So, we're really going to have to see how impactful this Kled ends up being because, getting R5 on Kled, and I don't know if you necessarily counted yourself, but, I don't think it's an amazing matchup. Then again, I don't know that there's necessarily amazing matchups into the Gragas. I'm excited to see how that pans out. I think they're gonna get started. Have they started drafting yet? Yeah, hopefully soon.
Yeah, I think the both teams are readied up, but they haven't started the lobby just yet. Hopefully, we'll get into game. But I think just taking a quick look at these comps, they're not necessarily like without purpose, right? They have a very strong identity. The blue side has a very strong pick composition. You know, they have a lot of tools to sort of catch people out, while red side has a lot of team fighting tools. They have a way to engage the fight. They have a way to disengage a fight. And you know they do have the damage of Zeri and Syndra, so it's going to be extremely interesting to see how these sort of teams clash. You know, if the red side can sort of sort of live throughout the laning phase and sort of just go even and then maybe get into those team fights where they're going to be very strong, or if blue side is going to use their tools very well to catch the Zeri out, catch the Maokai out, catch the Syndra out, and just, you know, sort of farm them. This is very two distinct styles, and it's not something that I expected to see in a random pre-made, but I guess, you know, that's just what happens when you have drafting coaches for these teams.
Yeah, yeah, and you know we're lucky to have had drafting coaches for these for All right, welcome back. Sorry for the delay. We were having some technical issues, I think, and we're having a little pause after the pause. But hopefully, we are good to go from now on. This is game. Well, this is the first game of the night from our stream. Between blue and red side. That's pretty much all the only names we have for them. Don't really have anything else. Um, should be a pretty good one. I'm excited to watch this mid jungle duo from both sides because it looks like, unfortunately for Syndra, she's gonna have to face off against an Irelia Sejuani combo, which might mean she might be getting farmed soon.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be pretty interesting to see how these mid lanes interact with one another. But something interesting that I thought was almost a little bit ego is the fact that Noctera on the Zeri took Ghost instead of Cleanse against the Ashe, the Thresh, the Sejuani. These three big catching ultimates. Not taking the Cleanse is a little bit ego. I can definitely see her not needing it, especially if you position correctly towards the back of the fight. And with the Ghost, you can sort of just run down a lot of these short range melee champions like the Thresh, the Gragas, the Sedge, and the Aurelia. So, it's just going to be really interesting to see how Noxera sort of pilots these fights, sort of navigates their way around. That being said, it doesn't look like anything's happening level 1. Both teams are just sort of handshaking a 5-point. We do see a very interesting start coming out from the Thresh and the Ashe in the bot lane, though, sitting down their bottom bush, trying to maybe get a little bit of a cheese out.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if that pays off for them. I'm not too sure that they're gonna get anything from it. They don't even get the Ash harass off, but I'm hoping to see a very exciting game from both sides. I don't see this being a super fun lane for the Zeri. If I'm being honest, like you said, the no cleanse is a bit gutsy, and hopefully she's a master of dodging skill shots. Thresh missing the flay there, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, this lane, I think in my head, the way it's supposed to go is it's sort of a skill matchup. It's going to depend on how good this Thresh can space itself. Now it's going to be a level 2 Thresh hook, going to go wide though, and now here's a fight turning back. Level 2 is coming down for Zeri and Lulu as well, and so much damage going down onto the Ashe. Here comes the Glitter Lance, so much slow. Exhaust has to go down in order to try to save his life, but it's not going to be enough. Noxera flashes forward, first blood in this scouting combat.
Yeah, big play, but Tough Daddy could be in a little bit of danger here. He does get stunned.
Yeah, and here comes Corny the Maokai in the jungle coming out from the mid lane as well. So much CC's going down, but the double stun's going to be huge, and Tough Daddy says, I'll just take the fight. 1v2 goes back in. Here comes Sejuani for the backup. And overall, just going to be a little bit trade of health.
I was a little nervous when he hopped back in there almost right away. I thought that had Red Side played a little bit better, they could have gotten a kill out on Tough Daddy. I don't think that they really had too much to be afraid of. Maybe obviously, these are new people you're playing with. There's not a 100% trust between everybody quite yet. So I can understand them being hesitant to committing to a play that seems a little bit scary.
Yeah, it could definitely be, especially in League of Legends. Whoa, as I say that, Goni Thick actually lands a hook on a Griffin, is going to burn the flash. Noxera trying to trade back, but there's a Sejuani there. I don't think they necessarily want to take that fight, but yeah, I mean, like, in League of Legends, when the windows are so small a lot of times, but I don't even have time to talk about that as Peak Clay and something Corny are fighting right now over the Scuttle Crab. It does go over to the side of Maokai, so it's not going to be too much, but here comes the Ghost, having to burn from Noxera, or from Swiftles and Noxera. Just another trade of Summer Spell. So much stuff going down in the bottom lane right
Yeah,
now.
it looks like maybe it was worth the wait to see this kind of brawling match we have going on here. Getting to see just back and forth combat from both sides. To keep it interesting for making us wait about 15 minutes more than every other lobby.
Yeah, I think the players got antsy as well. They just want to start fighting right away. 30 minutes in, they're barely 4 minutes into the game. I'd get antsy too. I'm trying to fight. I'm trying to win.
Yeah, they're trying to show out, and we'll see if the nerves get to anybody. But Firefight actually doing a pretty solid job so far. Up in CS slightly, obviously the Gragas has done a pretty good job of manipulating his wave. But the thing with the Kled there is once he remounts, he's gonna have a lot more health than the Gragas, and he's gonna be in a much better position. Oh.
Yeah, I think this lane, I don't know this lane very well myself, but I'm pretty sure this lane is just going to be Firefight trying to sort of trade to the Rogs, try to force him out of the lane, and hopefully get a CS advantage by crashing a huge wave under his tower or something of sorts. And Peels, meanwhile, you just kind of just want to farm in the Scroggis, start getting those tier stacks up, and hopefully, you are able to peel the disengage. Once we start moving into these team fights.
Yeah, the Gragas is definitely looking to keep it peaceful in lane. He's done a really really good job of manipulating this wave state, playing weak side. He neither top lane has gotten any attention. Obviously, the Kled is not really in a good spot to get ganked for, and the Gragas, again keeping this freeze up. It's been like 3-4 waves by now that the Gragas has just done a really good job of keeping the wave right in front of his tower. He's in no danger, not even worried.
Yeah, and if the Clyde isn't able to find a huge advantage, he's going to have to find that advantage throughout team fights or throughout roams and stuff like that. And I'm not entirely sure about Clyde scaling myself, as I'm not really someone who plays him, but I'm pretty sure that he does not scale better than the Scroggis, who's just going to be a big wall in the late game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely agree, but easy.
Yeah, just a little bit of a trade. Flash does come out from the Syndra, is able to dodge that Sejuani Q. Looking to trade back just a little bit. I don't think it's going to be anything, but there are pings going down on the bottom side, so maybe this Maokai is going to be able to get down there. It does get spotted by the ward, however.
Yeah, I feel like they could have been a little more committed on that play against Easy. But again, I'm pretty sure it's just
Oh, but something corny gets spotted out by the hotshot, but it isn't going to be enough. Litter Lance lands, Hook lands onto the Maokai, and he's not going to be able to get in range. The Lantern does come down, saving them. But now we have a potential 4v4 fight in this bottom lane, and it doesn't look like blue side's going to give this up. Peakley goes forward, does miss the W, but huge stun coming out from Easy. Ultimate comes down to Peakley, and the laser from Zeri crits over the wall, and that is 2 kills going over to the side of red side, and knocked Sarah picking up both of them.
Yeah, and I've got to say, there's a few things from that fight that I really liked from Red Side. Something corny, in my opinion, for all intents and purposes, should have died there right away. He should have gotten picked off. I think that he did a really good job of dodging those abilities with his twisted advance. He was able, or whatever his W is called. He did a really good job to avoid a lot of CC and help his team turn around the fight and get that Sejuani killed.
Yeah, it was a great dodge, and that is going to lead for a dragon for the. Oh, but it looks like Swift Wolves might actually be caught out. Griffin and Noxera just on a rampage, on a killing spree in the bottom lane. And this AD carry is showing that they're here, they're ready to play.
Yeah, Noxera really putting up a clinic right now. They've been the far superior 2v2. Gunny and Swift Duel is kind of on the back foot, despite having what I consider a better lane.
Yeah, I mean, so like I said before, this bottom lane is I believe probably slightly Thresh Ash flavored,
Yeah.
just very slightly though.
Yeah.
But you can see that if the Thresh isn't able to get onto the Zeri, if the Thresh isn't able to just get his damage down, and the Ash can't space well, the Zeri Lulu is a very strong, very potent lane, and Noxera, hats off to them. They're having a really good showing right now. The Zeri is up 3-0. It's going to be very, very strong. It's already spiked. It is level 6. And, unless, blue side does more about this Zeri, she's just going to pop off and probably carry the game.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Zeri is just shaping up to be a monster. And from, I know from personal experience, that the Zeri is definitely a fair champion to play against when she's strong. But Peakley coming over on easy.
Yeah, Peakley coming over on easy. A lot of damage landing onto easy. And here comes Tough Daddy with the ultimate. Is going to finally take him down. It doesn't even matter if it's a 2v3 because Tough Daddy is popping off. A double kill goes over to him. And Griffin has to flash over the wall to get out.
Yeah, Tough Daddy with a great engage, but also, a lot to be said for Peakley for the support that he provided to his Irelia to get those 2 kills. He could have cleaned up Griffin as well, but he got the flash, and it's a pretty even game. Really back and forth from both sides.
Yeah, and if there's one person that's going to deal with this Zeri, it's going to be this Irelia, because the Irelia is the only person on the side of blue team that can really match her damage and sort of match her mobility in a lot of ways. So it is extremely good for Tough Daddy to be up 2-0 over Easy's Irelia, and sort of leading his team hopefully into these early game team fights. And We'll have to see if Noxera is going to be able to play better than Tough Daddy, because I believe it's basically their show right now. But we do see Noxera finally goes in for a little bit of trade. But he is also going for what I believe to be a Kraken Slayer. So not only did he not take cleanse, he's opted out of the shield bow. So this is a very, very aggressive, high damage Zeri build that he's going for.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta respect the aggressivity behind this build, but it's definitely gonna make it a lot harder to pilot, right? You don't have clans, you don't have the shield bow to keep you safe. It's gonna be imperative that you know, play at your best to make sure you don't get popped. And you know, there's a lot of tools to, you know, shut you down on blue side. Pretty much every champion is a threat to you. You know, if you're Zeri here, so obviously, you know, you get the Lulu there to facilitate, but it's gonna have to be a
Whoa, Ash Arrow comes down to the bottom lane, but it does miss, so Noxera not even needing that cleanse, just going to dodge it.
yeah. So I mean, you know, maybe they're just, you know, retroactively hearing us, you know, another 3 minutes ahead in game, and you know, they're talking about, I don't need any cleanse, I don't need any shield bow.
And just because somebody asked in chat, they wanted to know what Ash was maxing. Ash is maxing the W. She's got 4 points into it so far, so not going to be that level 10 Q max that we usually see, or level 9. So, you know, it is going to probably start losing these trades from now on. A little bit of trade happening in the top lane, though. Has to expend the Rock's ultimate to get out, but here comes Tough Daddy in the mid lane. Irelia ultimate goes onto Easy. So much damage. The Syndra ultimate comes back and is able to scare him off. And now in the bottom lane, we have Maokai twisted advance forward. Here comes the big Lulu knockup onto 2, but it's not going to be enough, or will it be? Gunny Thick so low, is barely able to survive, and now Ash might be enough damage to catch onto this Maokai. So much damage going down. The slow comes down. The ultimate comes out from Sejuani to clean up that kill for the Ash, and now Griffin has to run away. He's not in a good spot, but the slows are coming down. Stun lands. So much damage getting traded back and forth. It's going to be so close. Can Swift Duels clutch this out? One more auto attack, not going to be enough. Noxera walks away with 10 HP.
Oh my god, that was so close. And Noxera, I mean, Red Side is so lucky that that did not go a lot worse than they did. I think that fight was a little messy from Red Side. Mainly, I think something corny, not the best target selection, in my opinion. I think that he got a little greedy. We saw that, you know, him W in, chasing the Thresh, he got the flash out. I think he got a little greedy and wanted to get a good angle on both the Ash and the Thresh. I think that, you know, he just needs to take what he can get. He gets the, you know, gets the Thresh kill and walks out. He ended up, you know, trying to go for both, got neither. And you know, now the game is tied in gold, not tied in kills, slight gold lead to blue side.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it was good that the kill went over onto Ash, but I mean, this is just going to, it looks like, be a shield bow Ash, which is obviously not very high damage. So this is just going to be a super safe Ash trying to live, but Griffin might be caught out here. Hook lands onto him. Here comes Zeri over the wall. So much damage traded back and forth. The Ash is trying to finish off the kill, but is just going to be saved by Noxera. But Noxera says, no, that's not enough for me. Flashes over the wall, but now you're stuck in a 1v4 behind enemy lines. And here comes the hook. So much damage. Noxera trades backs anyway, and here comes the rest of the team. That's going to be kills going back forth for each side. Gragas ultimate comes down, is going to knock Something Corny away, but now Something Corny is finally caught out. Is he going to get taken down? Here comes Easy with the stun onto Peakley. Not going to be enough. Overall, that fight is going to be a win for Red Side, 2-for-1.
Wow, what a fight! And you know, I won't comment on whether I thought the Zeri's aggressivity was the right play, but I will say that I admire an ADC that can you know, that isn't afraid to get his hands dirty.
Going to land on Easy. He stepped too far forward. So much damage. Tough Daddy ultimate lands. So much damage going down. Easy gets taken down. Peels picks up the kill, and what should have been a dragon for Red Side is just going to get traded back for Blue.
And it looks like we're ready for a fight part 3.
Yeah, these teams aren't giving up this dragon. They want this dragon. Noxera's finally back on the map. Gragas goes forward, lands a stun, but it's going to get flashed away by Something Corny. So overall, the dragon does go over to blue side.
Yeah, that was, you know, pretty interesting fights. They were enjoyable to watch, I'll say that much. I do think that, you know, we need to space out the fights, you know, regroup a little more. I think that they were just kind of just a bunch of fist fighting back and forth. I think that,
whoa, Ash Arrow landing onto Noxera. He doesn't have the cleanse, but it is just going to be a little bit too close to tower. They're not going to be able to follow up on it.
Yeah. And what I was gonna say is, I think maybe you wait for your Zeri to come back. You know, she's by far your strongest member. I think that you shouldn't be looking for too many fights. You know, positioning in aggressive positions. Uh, when when your Zeri's dead.
Yeah, especially when she's so much of your damage and so much of your gold share this early on. It is going to be a 1,000 gold lead for this for the blue side at the end of the day. 15 minutes into this game, which is kind of where they want to be. They don't exactly have the better scaling comp, as this Sari is going to just scale a lot better, especially when she has the pocket Lulu with her. But this game right now, Noxera, we're seeing him sort of be punished for his aggressiveness. Not taking the cleanse, not taking shield bow, and instead opting for this Kraken Slayer. But to be fair, he did sort of have a pop off moment trying to get that kill onto Ashe. But at the end of the day, you know, yes, you have an aggressive AD carry, and yes, that could be good. But at the same time, you're playing Zeri, so maybe try to tone that back a little bit. Try to see if you can play with your team more and do more damage than just dying early on in these team fights.
Yeah, I mean, Noxera really, now it's the time where we see some of those intangibles where players can handle the pressure. Right now, the pressure on Noxera is he has I won't say it's been handed to him. I think he's through his own gameplay, he's earned this lead that he has. But now it's up to him that he's in this position to really be able to carry his team and close it out for them.
Some pings going on in the mid lane. Tough Daddy might get caught up by something corny, but does smell that something is a little bit weird and something different. But now, Noxera's on a ward, but it doesn't matter because he dodges the Ashe ultimate, but he does get hooked at the end of the day, and not having cleanse is going to lead to his downfall.
Yeah, and I mean now we're starting to see that kind of lack of respect in the build getting punished a little bit more because you have to play perfectly. You can't afford to make these mistakes, and he's being properly punished by blue side.
Yeah, this is a very egoist build, right? If you play perfectly, this build is fine, right? If you dodge everything, if you are able to just space yourself out in these fights, you're going to do so much damage. You're going to be, him. But unfortunately, Noxera has not been him these past couple of deaths.
Yeah, Noxera has started off really strong, is not doing the best right now, but it's okay. I mean, he still has a solid gold lead. He has.
Whoa, great ultimate coming out to Sejuani is going to burn Easy's flash.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, Noxera still has about 700-800 gold over his counterpart, so he's not in a bad spot by any means.
And we're starting to see, a little bit in this top lane. Peels was able to get a level advantage and a kill over Firefight in some of these team fights. So we're starting to see like this Kled doesn't really necessarily have the damage, but as I say that, Noxera goes forward, ults forward, so much damage going down. But here comes the Thresh in the pocket, is going to be able to lantern him out. But Gunny think, where are you walking? Because you chose the bad way to walk. So much damage going down on him. Is he going to survive long enough for Tough Daddy to do anything? He's not. Noxera gets the kill. He takes the wall ride. He says, Tough Daddy, I'm not done with you. Flashes forward, is able to dodge the stun, and just runs him down. Noxera is him again.
Yeah, Noxera again with that aggressiveness, but it's not over.
I say that, it's just so much aggressiveness. Noxera gets taken down. Great TP coming up from Peels, but it's going to get traded back. It's not actually able to survive the sliver of health. Easy has now rejoined this team fight, but overall, the teams just aren't going to be able to trade back so many low health bars.
Wow, what a fight. Again, that aggressiveness, maybe not the most characteristic from ADCs that I've seen. Sometimes, they might prefer to play safely. Noxera just, balls to the wall, going in, flashing in on these melee champions to get the kill. Overstayed a little bit. I think that, kind of should have taken what he, be happy with what he got and walked away. But his greed, led to his demise, and he does get taken down.
Yeah, so one thing that you do have to be a little bit careful when you're playing such an aggressive playstyle is, you're getting all these kills on Noxera, right? You're getting really farmed, you're really fed, but then you die making a mistake. You die going a little bit too far forward, and someone picks up that shutdown, And normally you would be in a position where your lanes are even, but now because you gave that shutdown over to like a solo laner, now instead of your solo laners being even, now they're now behind because you're giving these shutdowns at the cost of your own acceleration. But it's going to be a 5v5 in this river. Hook lands onto the Kled, not going to go for it onto that, but this is a dragon dance. This is the dragon dance that's probably going to decide this game, as both teams are both here 5v5. They want this dragon.
Ooh, Firefight getting that engaging. Has not used his ult, but got the hook in.
Yeah, Maokai ultimate comes down. Hook comes out from Thresh, is going to disengage the fight, and now a lot of big ultimates on both sides have been shot out. It's going to be seeing which team's going to get picked first. Something Courtney has to flash out. Kled ultimate comes out. Here comes Zeri ultimate, and now so much damage traded back and forth. But overall, blue side is winning this fight. Ashe ultimate lands onto Kled, and overall, it's going to be a 1-for-0. The jungler. Now here comes the hook onto Noxera, and Tough gets the shutdown. Great hook from Gunny Thick is going to secure the fight and the dragon.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's just the theme over and over. The lack of defensive utility from Noxera really, really punishing him. And you can dodge 4, 5, 6 hooks, but it doesn't matter because the moment any CC hits you, you're dead. And Noxera was doing their best to avoid all these skills, playing the dance, and he went down. He got hooked once, and he got instantly blown up. And it's a lead in favor of blue side. I think for the first time this game, someone is starting to run away with the lead.
Yeah, I mean, Noxera, he is going for the Blade of the Rune King second, so this is going to be a very fast, very on-hit build for Noxera. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. He's going to have a bit of healing, and he's going to have a lot of speed. But as I say that, there might be something getting caught out here. Tough Daddy walks into a tri-bush, trying to defend this top side, but can he beat him? He takes down Griffin in a 1v4. Overall, a 1-for-1 trade, but the kill goes over to Noxera, so going to get a little bit more gold into this Zeri.
Yeah, and I mean, Zeri kind of getting back into it again. Once again, the onus is really on her. She has a lot of responsibility with, how much gold she has. And I think, it's you can put a little bit of blame on the Zeri when, she has all this gold on her and she went this super greedy path and she's getting picked off here and there. Again, it's really a fight between who's going to carry harder, Tough Daddy and Noxera.
Yeah, and on the side of blue team, we have so much pick potential, right? You have the Gragas ultimate, you have the Sejuani ultimate, the Ashe arrow, the Thresh hook. There's just so much pick potential, and when you're picking any champions on the red side, there's only really 2 of them that you don't necessarily want to pick. The Maokai, maybe he's a little bit too tanky, or maybe the Kled just dismounts and runs away. But overall, 3 out of 5 champions that you want to pick, 3 out of 5 champions that you have so many tools for. And we saw it in that dragon fight when they ball up and they just throw out their hooks, they throw out their skill shots, and as soon as one lands, it can start eating red side one by one. And with Noxera having this extremely aggressive, hyper aggressive build, if he gets hooked, if he gets hit by the CC, he gets taken out of the fight, and blue team will just run them over. Or if he doesn't have the defensive tools to fight a potential 4v5 because one of his teammates got hooked, it just makes things really, really difficult for this area to play.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Zeri, this is something that we mentioned on really, really early, right? That every champion on blue side has something to threaten the Zeri. And, I don't care how good you are. At the end of the day, if you're here at this Plat Combine, you're going to make a mistake. And it's, natural and it's expected. But, I think that's something you should keep in mind, especially when you see this draft, right? Because your champion, you pick it before maybe you see the whole draft. But your summoners and your items, you definitely knew that you were playing into this blue side team comp when you decided what you were going to do.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think Noxera so far is showing us that he's a very egotistical player. He's very confident in himself, and I think that could be a very good thing, but it can also be a very bad thing, as you're seeing right now. Him getting caught out, him leading to his team losing team fights and stuff like that. It could be really bad. It's a double-edged sword. The type of player that Noxera is showing us.
Yeah, definitely. You always want your players to have a bit of ego. You want them to have confidence to be able to keep up their ego in difficult situations. But you have to balance that with just some rationale, right? Making sure that you know that you're elite, but you also know that this cleanse is gonna make it a lot more, a lot easier for you to be elite. But the Baron's starting up, and let's see if blue side is aware. Oh,
Yeah, they're going to check it with the actual ultimate, so they do know that they're on it, but they're taking so much damage from this Baron. TP's coming down to the top side, but here comes Easy's TP as well, but it is going to be late. The red side goes for the engage, goes forward, so much damage traded back and forth. Griffin might finally get taken down. Overall, so far, 1-for-0 for the blue side. Firefight's in a really bad spot, gets taken down almost as well, finally shut down. And now, Zeri, you're in a terrible spot. Gets caught out again. And overall, it's a win for blue side, 3-for-0.
yeah, and that was. I thought that would go a lot better for red, mainly because I thought they collapsed really well on the three-man kind of contingent that blue had in kind of like that river entry area behind blue, and I'm a little surprised that it did not go that well for red. Good flank from Tough Daddy and from Peels to really disrupt Noxera. Not didn't really let Noxera get those free hits that they would have wanted to get off in this team fight, and now they're going to claim the Baron and a free Dragon. I presume that red side is not going to be in any position to contest this here.
Yeah, it's probably just going to go over the side of blue team here. Overall, Noxera getting caught out again, unfortunate, is going to spell defeat for the side or for the red side. But maybe they don't even want the dragon. Maybe they just want the fight. TP coming up from Kled, and now they might be looking for something. Trelius comes down, and blue side is a little bit caught out. Stun lands on Fresh, great stun. So much damage is taken down by the Zeri, and now here comes the TP from Tough Daddy. Is he going to be able to turn this fight around? Hook lands onto the ledge. So much damage going on to Noxera. And Tough Daddy is him. Gets into the back line, gets a kill. Ash picks up Noxera as well. And what looked like
no.
is going to be amazing for them, as they're going to take an ace for their side.
Tough Daddy just taking over the team fight. Pretty much hero play from him. Obviously, his teammates, they did a good job too, but Tough going to the back line, making sure that Noxera and Easy can't free hit. I thought that the front line of Red Side did a really good job in that engage, but unfortunately, after using all their tools to get that good engage off, it's a little difficult to keep Tough Daddy and everybody off of the back line. Blue Side are running away with it, and I don't see how Red Side can come back. I think that they're too Zeri loaded in their power, and I'm not too sure. Even if Zeri had more defensive items on her, I don't think it would make much of a difference at this point. I think that it's going to be pretty hard for any one person to carry against this blue comp that I think does a really good job of disrupting.
Yeah, especially since most Zeris they sort of opt into the Navori second. That allows them to get their dash up quite often in these fights, and so without the shield bow, without the Navori, without the cleanse, a little bit of catch going into the bottom jungle, but I don't think it's going to lead to anything. But yeah, without these all these tools to defend herself, it's just going to be so hard. And the damage output that she has right now is high, but it's not going to be high enough to tear through this Sejuani, this Gragas, this Ireli, who's built shield bow. Now GA finally finished on her as well. It's just going to be no matter what you build here, you're just not going to be able to do enough damage. So and on top of that, one person looks at you the wrong way and you're going to get blown up because you have no defensive items, you have no defensive cleanse.
Yeah, and something I want to say, I'm not too sure what the optimal Maokai build path is right now, but I my instinct is that this Maokai should have gone for a much tankier angle, especially because I think it was pretty apparent that that the Zeri was really strong early on, right? I think that once you see your Zeri, is getting a lead, you probably go for a bigger pure tank angle and maybe skip over the demonic early on.
Yeah, I agree. I think when, like you said, when your Zeri's popping off, you just have to be a big meat shield for her. You have to, get the Radiant Virtue out early so she can get a bit of healing and sort of protect her a little bit more. Things like the Redemption or the Knight's Vow could have been good here as well, to sort of angle yourself more around the team fighting and less around the dragon dancing or baron dancing that the Demonic Embrace would give. But overall, we do see a 7,000, almost 8,000 gold lead for the side of blue team. The Baron finally, I believe, wore off, so they are going to stop their sieging. Next objective is going to be Soul Point for the side of blue team on this Hex Texel in about a minute and a half.
Yeah, and I think this next dragon fight is probably going to be it for red side. Unless they make some crazy picks, it's probably they're probably done. They're down 8,000 ish gold or so. There's a lot of gold spread pretty evenly, among their team. Whereas on red side, the gold is pretty much concentrated on a Zeri that is really susceptible to dying just because of lack of defensive tools and a lot of other things.
Yeah. I would like to see. I think red side, the best chance right now, like you said, is to just get a pick. So I'd like to see them sort of clear out this vision and maybe use the Maokai saplings to sort of carve a way through into the river and try to find a Thresh, try to find an Ash, or maybe even the Sejuani if they can. But she is really tanky to sort of start the fight off in an advantageous position. But with how strong Tough Daddy is, already finished the GA, it is up working on finishing a Ravenous Hydra. He just does so much damage, has so much drain taking capability, and no damage source on the side of Red Team has picked up any kind of Grievous Wound. Syndra doesn't have it, Zeri doesn't have it, and Lulu doesn't have it either. So not only do they have to deal with an extremely tanky team, they also have to deal with a drain tanking Aurelia.
Yeah, and I mean that's a lot for any ADC to ask for, right? I mean, I think, or to deal with. I think that it's already such a tall ask when you see that comp. Uh, I'd imagine, let's say for example, if you saw that comp and you were, in a similar position as Zeri, you probably would opt for cleanse and probably shield bow and whatever will help you keep you alive against these monsters. But firefight getting caught
Oh,
out here.
Firefly getting caught out. The hook lands onto him, gets dismounted. Is he going to be able to make it to the blast plan? He's not. Exhaust goes down. So much damage. Here comes Red Side on the backside of this fight. Noxera goes forward, but you are way too far forward. Has to flash out. So much damage getting traded onto the easy. Gets taken down, gets shut down. Noxera and Griffin in a 2v5. A triple kill for Ash. She flashes forward. Almost gets the quadra kill, but Tough Daddy takes it. And that is a 4-0 team fight for Blue Team. They're TPing to try to end this game.
Yeah, that was one thing that was really really huge in this fight, and I think has been really huge in every single fight is the Gragas ults. Just so disruptive, just pretty much breaking up the team, making it so that Noxera and Griffin and even Easy are split off from the main team fight for a few seconds. And when these team fights are already so difficult for Red Side, those few seconds feel like eternity. In having to play like a 2v5 or 3v5 just because you're split up by a Gragas. Heels did a great job this game keeping the Kled quiet.
Yeah, but it looks like Red Team's not willing to go without a fight. Hook lands onto something corny. So much damage. Great Syndra stun onto 3. And here comes Noxera. Gets taken, or takes down the Ash. Shut down going over him, but they gets traded back with the Maokai. Noxera is just in the backline, hitting. But here comes the Thresh Hook. Not going to go forward on it. They're just going to try to get out of here. They're trying to get out of dodge. Noxera is trying his best to try to speed up. Flash comes out from Firefly, but gets dismounted, so the hook does not go forward, and the box comes down for disengage. Hook goes wide. Noxera is still trying to go forward, and Blue Team is trying to push their lead, but it's just not going to be enough. W lands, and now body slam. Great. Disengages Noxera. He goes so low, and now he's on such low HP. Are they going to go forward and find anything else? Feels is just feeling himself right now. So much damage onto this Gragas. Now Tough Daddy goes forward. Great casket, but now the ultimate from Zeri actually takes him down as well. But Tough Daddy is not willing to give up. Finally takes down the Zeri, takes down the Kled as well. Double kill. And overall, extremely long fight the blue side again takes.
That was a fight. That was an interesting fight. I thought Red Side I think did a good job chasing them for a while. I think once you're about at your tier 2 tower, you probably give it up. You can't catch them anymore.
Oh, but Gunny Thick is going to hook something corny. So much damage going down onto him. Tough Daddy goes forward, gets disengaged, gets popped into the Guardian Angel, but the Lantern is there, so he is going to be able to get out. And blue side, not able to finish the game just yet.
Yeah, and, I thought they would definitely end there, but I guess not. I'm a little surprised, but I'm sure that they will end. Probably in the next team fight. I imagine. I don't think that that red side really has a lot of tools to keep themselves alive.
Yeah, especially when you have a pin comp on the blue side, and there's so much gold up. All they have to do is run to this Baron, set up their vision, and just wait until red team walks into them, get the pick, and then get the Baron, win the game. So, unless Noxera has another him moment, I do have a hard time seeing red team being able to clutch us out.
Yeah, we're definitely going to need to see at least a pentakill from the Zeri if there's any hopes from red side. But it's going to be really, really hard. We can't emphasize it enough. Um, and what are your thoughts on the Zeri build? Actually, while now we're talking about it, I'm not too familiar. It looks a little interesting, but I'd like to hear what you think.
Interesting is an understatement. Usually, you don't like to build these kinds of items on Zeri, especially since she's been reworked. And by these items, I mean the Blade of the Rune King specifically, and that's just because she doesn't really do a lot of good damage on hit. A lot of her damage is backed up into her crit chance and her crit damage. So the fact that you're not or you're building a whole item that doesn't give you that just means that your damage is probably going to be lower. He finally finished the Navori, which was good. The Kraken, not the best. Shield Bow would have been better, but the Rune Hands is also good. But blue side is just going to burn down this Baron. It's just going to be Baron for
Wow.
them. Not even a chance to contest it. But yeah, I mean this area build is just it's high damage. It's no defense. It's I'm trying to outhands you, and it's just not necessarily good for this game.
Yeah, I mean, but like we said, it's clear that Noxera, has that confidence. They have skill. They play aggressively. Um, in terms of mechanics, I don't think there's too much question. I think that they have them. I think hopefully for these next games that they're in, they get to show off a bit more of decision making, being a little more careful. Being able to actually show that they can carry with these leads. That they not only have the skill, but the mindset and the macro know-how to be able to be that 1v9 monster.
Yeah, the Sidrani ult goes wide, Hook goes wide, and I think Red Team is going to take this fight now that a big ultimates and big cooldowns are down, but Noxera just immediately gets Hook, gets taken down, that's no cleanse. Here comes a 3 kills coming off the side of blue team, Swift Duel splashes forward, double kill for him, and Noxera, oh man.
That's gonna be game.
For blue side, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it was a pretty one-sided game after a certain point. I thought that it was a neck and neck, but unfortunately, all of Red's gold was really focused on one person, and Blue did a really good job of neutralizing that player. And they came ahead. They spread out the gold pretty well, and had a pretty dominant victory over Red side. I wish these players the best of luck. I don't know if they'll be in our stream next game, but I wish them the best of luck in their reformed teams. And we're gonna go on a short break because we are running late and everybody's waiting on us. So we will be right back. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. That was the first game of the night. We will be right back. quickly because we kind of just want to move this along. This draft for the second game of the combine that we're going to be spectating. I will post the multis in a second. Actually, give me a bit. I will transition for a bit and. All right, we're back. I just wanted to get those links out for you guys so you guys can see the teams that are playing. Because I'll have to copy and paste. I don't think it'll let you guys directly look at the whole link. But again, we're going through this a little bit faster because we're running a little bit late. We had a pause and someone showing up late, so did not start on time. But no worries. Just kind of explaining why we're kind of blazing through this draft. And we're seeing some bans on both sides. The Lilia, the Melio against Griffin, who is in our lobby once more. Uh, Actually, no, it's not against him. He banned
Uh,
him.
the, yeah, the Milio is against Taco Cat, and the Annie is against Griffin. So a little bit of a switcheroo there. But the driving going again out for something corny. I believe that was banned in the last draft against him. The Zaya ban going down for Swift Duelist, which again was again for him last draft as well. The Syndra and Lilia bans are coming down, I believe, for TA Bean, and that might just be a Flexily ban. Not really sure where that came from, but we do have a B1 Jinx. Is very strong in the meta right now. Varus answer is pretty good into that as well, as it does force the Jinx to take the cleanse. But now we're gonna
Hopefully,
see a jungler support.
yeah, hopefully we see a
Hopefully,
cleanse.
right?
Yeah, hopefully I don't see another cleanseless ADC when they need it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I believe Swift Duelist was playing against the Zeri last time, and he played Ash with Shield Bow. So if anything, we might even see a Shield Bow on Jinx, depending on how defensive he's feeling. But the draft timers are going to be a little bit longer than normal. Just FYI, guys, just because this is a scouting combine. We want to see players express their ideas in the draft. We want to have the coach help them through it. So the draft timers are going to be a little bit longer. We are going to see an Udyr R2, and I believe that is going to go in the jungle.
Yeah, the Udyr, and let's see who's in the jungle split breed. I think that Udyr is one of his signature picks. So I don't know if I want to say I'm surprised that it went through because again, not a lot of draft prep is going into this. We're not watching semifinals, CCS Advanced, where people are scouting each other for months, for weeks. This is kind of splashing in with new players. But the Udyr coming out, I think that this Jinx is already kind of shaping up to not have the best of times. Um, and the Wukong in response, what are your thoughts on that? I don't know that Wukong is exactly a great answer into Udyr, but I do think that he can potentially make the life of the Varus very hard.
Whoa, yeah. So like the Wukong, he does get onto this Varus pretty easily, with his dash. On top of that, he's just a very strong teamfighty champion. And with the Nautilus coming down, I think we're going to see Blue Side definitely go for a more traditional front to back with this Jinx. You have two very strong engages already on their side, so they can already potentially get on the back line of red side. So it's going to be interesting to see what they want to answer this Nautilus with. They could still pivot their draft into more disengage, and it's looking like it's going to be the Renata. Braum also works here as well, sort of counter the engage that blue side has. And then hopefully with this Udyr pick, either he runs amok in the Wukong's jungle, because I think he does win that 1v1, or he just power farms over the Wukong and just gets really, really strong in these team fights.
How strong, okay, so we saw the Jinx B1, right? We know that the Varus was picked in response to kind of, have this really aggressive presence to really shut down the Jinx, force you to play passively. How well does Renata fill into that vision? I know that I think Renata is supposed to be a good lane into the Nautilus, right? She's supposed to be good against Not, but I want to hear your thoughts on this 2v2.
Yeah, so the 2v2 is heavily favored for red side right now.
Okay.
The Varus matches the range of Jinx that she has in lane, and with his slow on his E, it allows him to get in range to start autoing her down. On top of that, Nautilus being a hook champion is fundamentally countered by the Renata. She's able to shove him away, and she also has more lane presence in lane by being able to poke out the Jinx if she decides to go the Aerie build. So it should be heavily favored for red side. On top of that, the Renata is just a natural counter to any hyperscaling AD that wants to auto attack a lot, because again, she's forced to take the cleanse or else she's going to kill her whole team. Looking at the bans so far, we see the solo laners getting hit. Obviously, for both sides, 2 mid laners were taken out, and it looks like a final mid laner is going to come down R4. They are hovering this Ahri, and that means that red side potentially has a very strong mid laner that can just auto shove lane and come down and mess with this Jinx Nautilus.
Yeah, I mean, you know, giving the, assuming that that's their intent, I think that's going to be a very painful day today for this Jinx. And I think that red side's drafted pretty well in response to a blind ADC like this. That's definitely what you like to see from your team when someone blinds Jinx against you. And this is probably how you feel when you lock in Jinx in solo queue versus when your opponent locks in Jinx and they pick champions that can't get on her. Red side definitely has champions that can make this Jinx's life very miserable.
Yeah, and picking up the Talia here is an okay pick. I would have liked to see probably just a stronger mage, just because the Talia doesn't necessarily counter the rest of red team's side very well. It only really counters the Udyr a little bit and Ahri mostly. It doesn't really do a whole lot into the Renato or the Varus, but JC, picking up this Talia, I have faith in him. He just won APL finals for Epsilon, or against Epsilon, and a Shin coming down. What more protection do you need against a roaming Ahri than a roaming Shin?
Yeah, this is a very good double global response from blue side. They said, we see your red comp. We see that you want to, jump our Jinx. We're not going to let you. We have the tools to protect her. But once again, I think blue side is really setting itself up more so than what we saw last game, because I think it was anybody's lane, anybody's really game on red side last game. This time around, we're definitely looking at a Jinx. We're going to build around you and we're going to play for you, but you have to carry us. Red side, has a really, I think, a lot more of a balanced comp. I think that, depending on what we see from top side right here. Okay, we're getting a bit of a...
This is the roulette, the top laner roulette.
I hope I don't... Okay.
Lands.
Gangplank. I like it for the global. It's okay in lane. It will scale. It also makes it pretty difficult for the Talia to play, I feel like.
It also makes it difficult for the Nautilus and the Wukong to play, because they're champions that want to go in, right? So when they go in, they're going into charms. They're going into an Udyr ultimate, just slamming down the middle of the team fight. They're going into Renato ultimate, a Varus ultimate. So it's very hard for blue team to advance onto these champions. And if they somehow do find a window, Gangplank barrels that have already been planted before, and they're just going to wreck the entirety of blue side. So it's going to be a very difficult game, I think, already just looking on the compositions alone, that blue team has to somehow find an angle in onto red side while not getting hit by a lot of these great ultimates and great damaging ability that red side has. That being said, all of their damage is also front loaded on this Jinx. So if the Jinx gets caught out, even if she gets the Shin ult, she could still die, or even if she gets Renato ulted, she could still just kill her whole team. But, I think it's going to be really interesting how these team fights play out. There's going to be so many huge clutch ultimates coming out from red side. Meanwhile, blue side has so many tools to just get on top of them. It's going to be it's going to be a very hard game for me to cast.
Yeah, this Jinx definitely gonna have to show out. It's gonna have to really pay back her team and the faith that they've put in this champion. We'll see how it goes. We'll go on a short break for now. While we get loaded in, while people finish picking their champions and we wait for the delay. But I will say, these drafts, I'm a fan of both. Not to say which one I think is going to do better or win, but I just like that there's a coherent draft philosophy behind both sides. At least, from my initial impression that I'm getting from this is that the players on both sides are team players, that they are flexible, that they are able to adapt into systems. In this brand new environment, they're able to kind of fit into a comp and adapt themselves. So I think that's a positive for pretty much everybody involved in this lobby. And I think that's something that is impressing me, at least personally. I don't know what your thoughts are there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Swift Tools is coming off of his huge win on the Ash versus that really fed Zeri. So I think the team has faith in him. He's feeling himself. He probably feels pretty good right now. He just won a game, and coming in on this Jinx, he has the tools to carry the game. It's going to be very hard for him, but he has the tools to carry this game, right? So is he going to be him? Is he going to be the player that blue side needs him to be? Is he going to be able to pick up these kills? Is he going to be able to kite perfectly? Because he has the tools to do so, and I'm super excited to see whether or not he can live up to the pressure here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a big ask from him. But like you said, previous game he showed up and he performed, and we'll see if he has it in him again. Especially this time when he's the one that he's being played around. Uh, I'm excited to watch. But for now, again, we're gonna go on a short break. We've talked about the comps, and in about 3 minutes we'll be in game, and hopefully, we'll be on good track for our next game too. We'll see you all soon. Thanks for tuning in. That was the draft for the second game of our Platinum Scouting Combine with TA. Make sure you guys are checking out the Team Ambition stream and the CCS if you want to, get as much coverage and get a look at as many players as possible. And we will see you all soon. All right, welcome back. We're getting started on this second game of the night between blue and red side. Let's see who manages to take it away here. From repeats from last night, from our last series, we saw a firefight in here. Swift duelist Griffin, and I think that's it. Everybody else is new, so a lot of familiar faces on blue side, brand new faces on red side.
Yeah, something corny was also in the game. He was the Maokai last game as well.
Oh,
But
was he? Okay. Yeah, so even
yeah,
more so. So it's a kind of a combination team on blue side from from both teams. Ooh.
yeah, something. Wow, JC
Ooh.
with the read.
Look at JC. Wow. Look at that presence of mind, that kind of game knowledge to do that. I can appreciate that. Good play from him, potentially saving his team from a disaster start.
Yeah, it looks like both teams were expecting to invade. Blue side went from the bottom side of the lane. Very smart not to go in through the top side or the top side of the bottom river because that's usually where teams stack. And I think JC kind of knew something was up. He was able to hit the 5-4-5-man Talia Q, get a little gold in that first strike. But overall, just going to be a quiet level one, as no one had to blow any huge summoners. Nobody got any good kills or anything. But yeah, so overall, just going to be a very standard early game, already getting shoved in the mid lane as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect. Oh wow, did none of them hit onto the firefight? None of the barrels hit. He like weaved between them. That's pretty funny to watch actually. Yeah, I don't expect anything too crazy early on. I mean, maybe some abilities getting thrown back and forth, but nothing too crazy. I'd imagine.
Yeah, something interesting is that the Renata did not opt for the Airy build. She did decide to go super safe. She took the heal, she took the Guardian, she even took the non-aggressive support item. So she's not going to have too big of a lane presence as she could in this lane. Instead, she's just going to try to play safe for her Varus, try to scale up a little bit. Meanwhile, the Varus did end up going Comet, so this is going to be either an AP Varus or a lethality poke Varus. Already a little bit of damage trading back and forth. Griffin misses the hook, and Swift Duels is going to take a bad trade for it. And you can already see that this Varus is handling this Jinx in this lane very well. Just the range that he has and the tools that he has, the runes that he could go, just makes it super hard for the Jinx to play the lane. And taking the Doran's Blade here is going to be extremely greedy as well as... it does give her the lifesteal in lane, but not having the 3 potions means she's super susceptible to getting poked out here.
Yeah, and I mean the Comet build there is dropping so much damage, getting harassed. Really difficult to dodge the harass from the Varus. And the Varus did opt for the longsword 3-pot start. Making him all that much more of a threat.
Yeah, a little bit of trading damage going back in the bottom lane, but yeah, it's going to be interesting how this Varus decides to build. Meanwhile, Split Breed in the mid lane decides to show up, but I think it's just going to burn JC's flash overall. Great gank coming out from Split Breed. Getting rid of that flash early on against the Ari is going to be very beneficial for TA Bean.
Yeah, getting that flash out early. Oh my god, they engage.
With Griffin though, and the traps land onto Taco Cat. So much damage traded back and forth. But here comes Fusion. So much damage traded back onto the Jinx. Has to burn the flash in order to get out. And it's just going to be a trade of summoner spells. But blue side did take the worst of that.
Yeah, and blue side, it looked like it was going really well for them. This Jinx needs to be very careful. Griffin.
Great hook actually cancels out the Varus Q. Is going to save his Jinx's life if that would have landed, and damage trading back and forth. And now this Jinx can walk up. Here comes Wukong. Something corny is trying to gank this, but Split Breed sniffs that out and is able to get a counter gank, showing where he's at. So overall, shouldn't lead to anything.
Yeah, good job from Split Breed, to have that kind of read, knowing that his bot lane is vulnerable to getting ganked. Protects him from the Wukong. I think Wukong could have been a little more aggressive. I think his pathing was a little greedy. We can see a fight here, maybe.
Speaking of greedy, it might be a little bit too greedy. JC is able to get the knockback on his Split Breed, has the Ghost out of this fight, but not before taking one little chicken. Tabian lands the charm, is going to disengage the fight completely, but Split Breed might have been a little bit too greedy there trying to counter jungle.
Yeah, Split Breed getting caught out, forced to ghost out. Good movement from Jason Crypt to help out his jungler to punish the greedy Udyr. Top lane's going a little rough for Firefight. It seems already been forced to TP, is down a decent amount of CS, and P Diddy already has the Sheen without even having burned a TP. So I'm getting, we haven't seen the lane in its entirety the whole time, but I'm getting, a sense that this Gangplank has done a really good job of pushing the waves and, backing at good times.
Yeah, and being able to free scale in a lane like this where the Shin can't necessarily punish him too hard is just going to be really good for him because we know what a 3-item, 2-item Gangplank can do. We know how strong this champion can be in these team fights, and being able to get out of this lane scot-free and just farm and even has the first strike to do a little bit of more gold generation is just going to be very good for him. He's going to be a very strong member in these team fights.
Yeah, I mean the Gangplank is just like you said, free scaling, getting stronger and stronger. It's going to be really really difficult for the Shen to be impactful. He doesn't have
Oh,
TP.
might see a trade here. Griffin walks forward, lands the blind hook onto Taco Cat, and here comes the Talia ultimate. JC's coming in, but he does still have the flash, able to flash out of there. But flash burnt for Taco Cat, but now is JC in a bad spot. Split just running at him. Griffin flashes forward as something corny shows up for the counter gank. First blood. Here comes the Shin ult as well. Does get peeled off by a Renata Q. Overall, it's a 1-for-0 trade, but a lot of ultimates burned from the side of blue team.
Yeah, and I want to say I don't think Shen needed to ult there. I don't think anybody was really in any great danger. I can appreciate having an awareness of the map, but I think that that wasn't really necessary. You are going to be in a worse spot. Two plates going over to this Gangplank almost. Oh, never mind. One plate, but still a lot of free farm. Plates going down. Not really the position you want to be if you're Shen.
Yeah, especially since Shin had to burn his TP early on. He's going to show up late to this lane, loses a wave, loses a plate, and this lead that Gangplank had just from laning alone is just going to balloon to the point to where Shin might not be able to match him in like 5-10 minutes if Gangplank is able to get start getting some of these items based off of the gold advantage he's had. And you can see that below that he's already almost finished his Essence Reaver.
Yeah, and I mean he has. Let's look at his gold. I mean he's a good 400 gold ahead of the Shen, almost a kill's worth, without really having done anything but farm and harass him.
Yeah, but Swift Duelist might be caught out here. Taco Cat goes forward, Q lands onto him, but here comes Griffin on the bottom side, but that's probably not where he wants to be, but something corny's here as well. Flash forward, great Wukong ultimate is able to knock up Fujin. So much damage going down. The Renata W is just going to keep him a little bit alive, just a little longer. Finally gets taken down.
Yeah, good gank from something corny. Firefight might have bitten off more than he can chew. He has to flush away.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see this Gangplank is already hyper outscaled this Shin. The Shin is just going to have worse and worse matchups. JC, meanwhile, great trade onto TAB and is able to flip him back and get a lot of damage onto him. But yeah, this Gangplank is already a problem.
Yeah.
And within 10 minutes, he is going to be the problem for blue team.
I will say it's commendable to the Shen keeping the CS not that crazy of a difference. Obviously, it looks like it's ballooned a little bit, but he's going to be able to get it back. Oh my god.
Yeah, Split Breed, I think, not actually able to take that as something corny did smite that away. Great smite. He did have or it might have just been upgraded, but either way, great smite from something corny, able to defend his blue buff from the Udyr invade.
Yeah, and I mean it's going good for blue side right now. I think that red side needs to put up a much more concerted effort to shut down this Jinx, who is down 4 CS, but other than that is barely down any gold. Something corny doing a really good job here to hover JC, making sure that he's not in any danger.
Yeah, if we take a look at the CS leads in the solo lanes, the red side does have a 10 CS lead for both their solo laners, but 2 kills going over the side of something corny is going to even out that gold and give him the ability to do things like this with Griffin, as they are able to catch Split Breed out on his blue buff. Smite goes over, is able to secure it for himself, but it's not going to matter as Griffin picks up a kill. And, Split Breed just getting bullied right now.
Yeah, Split Breed not able to control his own jungle. Really, really good movement. JC has been pivotal to really punishing Split Breed's misplays. I think he's doing a really good job and really making the use of the Talia mobility. That's really, really what you wanted to do to not only your Jinx ahead, but make any other plays with your Shen and Wukong.
Yeah, I agree. I think that once they saw this Ari come down, I think JC knew that he needed to pick a champion that could sort of match her. And what better champion than Talia, a champion that can be anywhere on the map almost instantly, provided the fact that she's in the mid lane. On top of that, someone to match her clear as well. As I say that, though, Taco Cat might be caught out here, goes forward, but Griffin lands the hook onto Fujin. So much damage. Dorado ultimate trying to disengage the fight, but here comes the Shin from the top side, takes down Fujin, picks up a kill for himself, and what looked like a counter game for red side turns into a win for blue.
Yeah, and I mean the goal difference isn't too great. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's mostly in the gangplank. Ari's done a good job to keep the CS lead, but I think that you'll be much happier with what Jason Crypt has done for his team than having two waves of CS more than your opponent. It's not unwinnable for Red by any means, but I do think that they need to start being a little more proactive because I'm not too sure that they will be able to outscale a Jinx, maybe the Gangplank, but this Varus build is definitely early game oriented.
Yeah, early game, mid game oriented for sure. And with the early gold going onto this Wukong, he's already finished his Divine Sunder. He's already like heads and shoulders above this Udyr. Maybe not necessarily in the 1v1, but in these team fights for sure, he's going to be a big threat, able to get on top of the Varus, able to get on top of the Gangplank. The gold going into Gangplank is really good though, so they do have tools to still win team fights. This game is obviously not over by any chance, but overall, it's a good showing for blue side because this is where they need to be for these drafts right now. We talked about it in the pregame lobby and during draft that it was going to be really hard for blue team to enter these fights against the red side, but if they have a gold lead and they have a strong Wukong, it makes things infinitely easier.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, that's something that we talked about while we were loading in, while we were looking at the drafts, is that, there's an onus on blue side. Oh, we can see a dive here, but there's an onus on blue side to navigate this well. And let's see how Shen navigates this potential dive.
Yeah, we saw pinks coming down on the wave that's coming up right now, so they are set up for this, and they are going to go on this dive right now. Kenshin, I'll play this taunt lands onto the gameplay, but it's just going to get oranged away. Charms comes down, and now is he going to be able to survive? So much damage going on top of them, but the juggle is just not perfectly, I lied, it's just perfectly good enough. P. Diddy lives with 1 HP.
The juggle was a little iffy. I think it could have been better. They got away with it. I don't think it was super clean. I thought Shen played that pretty decently, but unfortunately for him, he does go down.
Yeah, tried his best there, tried to do what he could. The kill going over the Gangplank too is really good for the side of red team because this Gangplank is already accelerated and wants another 300 gold in his pocket. I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be surprised if he came back, with a lot more items. And I say that he picked up 1,500 goldish worth of items, with the Merc Treads, with the Cloak of Agility. He's so close to his Navori. Meanwhile, this Jinx hasn't hit one item yet, so this Gangplank being disaccelerated could spell disaster for blue team, depending on how well P. Diddy can navigate these team fights.
Yeah, 100%. P. Diddy is going to have to, put on his backpack and try his best to carry his team. I don't think that the rest of his team has had sufficient impact to really carry into the later parts of the game. Obviously, like you said, it's not over yet. They can still get that gold lead and make themselves useful. But
yeah,
the way
things coming down on the bottom side, I think the Talia wall might be coming up soon. Gets spotted out by Split Breed, but JC is able to spot him out as well. Does a little bit of damage back and forth.
Yeah, Split Breed looking a little squishy there, losing half of his health. Yeah,
Looks
there
like
was.
blue team might be walking up for TA Bean. I don't think he'll be afraid though. Griffin flashes forward with the Nautilus ultimate, is going to burn the flash of the Ari. Overall, a good trade for them. But here comes Firefly just deciding to just give up, his wave and try to help out. JC flashes over the wall. They are going for this. So many flashes burned already, and TA Bean is walking in a really bad spot. Flash taunt goes really wide, but something corny is going to get this kill. He's on a killing spree. Hook lands onto Split Breed, and the knockback comes in. The Wukong ultimate comes down, but here comes a Dorado ultimate on the floor, perfectly disengaging the fight, but it's not going to matter because something corny is going crazy. He's on a rampage.
Yeah, that was mostly really well played from Blue. I'm not the biggest fan of those Shen E's, but I can appreciate I like that he walked down to pinch the Ari. That he had the awareness to do that. So from what I've seen, Firefight has good awareness of the map, what's going on in the game, or at the very least is a good listener. He's hearing these comms when he's being told to move, and he's moving. So really really good on him there, and it's looking like it's starting to slip away from red side. Still only 1,000-ish gold difference, so not over by any means. But I think it's definitely going to come down to how well P Diddy can play the series for the match.
Yeah, I agree. He's finished the Caulfield's hammer of his Navori, so I believe he's only like 1,500-ish gold off until this Gangplank becomes an absolute monster. This Navori is going to give him access to so many of his barrels. He's just going to lay them down, do so much damage. I imagine he stacks the crit cloaks afterwards as well, and eventually he's just going to be doing such huge damage. It's going to be up to something corny or JC to sort of pick him out of these fights, and if they're able to kill him, the fights look a lot easier. But so far blue team has been running away with this game a little bit. 1,500 gold lead up, 2 dragons up. The next dragon spawning in a minute. It's going to be Cloud Soul for this game, so it's this fight is either going to be not a fight or it's going to be extremely important, because this is going to be potentially soul point for blue team.
Yeah, looking like a big climb up the mountain for red side. Firefight, the gap is starting to show. He's down a level, down in 40 CS. But I think he's had pretty solid impact around the map to help his teammates out, that I don't think he will mind all that much. The gameplay could end up being a threat, but I'm not sure if he's going to be a 1v9 threat just yet.
Now I wonder if they're going to move P Diddy down here for the fight, or they're just going to let him split and just let them take the soul point. Based off of his position, he does have TP, so he could come down, but I think he's trying to pressure this tower. Rift Herald goes down in the middle lane to sort of clean up some of this outer tower gold and give them mid priority, but red team are just walking up. They're saying, hey, we don't want the dragon, let's just go dive the Shin again.
Yeah, again, maybe they don't feel they can contest it just yet. They're definitely late on the rotation. They won't be able to get to it on time. Let's see if their efforts pay off, if the Shen's going to go down.
Yeah, Split Breed, here he comes. Smite lands, slows him down. So much damage going on to Firefight, but he, I believe, doesn't actually have the W. So Ooh. Split Breed takes the kill.
W could have seen him maybe even trade 1-for-1, or definitely escape at the very least. He might have been able to pick up a kill if he played his cards right. He does go down, but Winsel, soul point going over to blue side. I'm not too sure it's the greatest soul for them. I guess it's pretty solid for the Wukong, but that's really about it.
It's going to be pretty decent for the Jinx too, just because with her range, the extra movement speed, being able to zip in and out of these fights, especially when you have so much zone control for the side of red team. They have the Varus ultimate, they have the barrels coming down. Being able to navigate that zone control with her enhanced movement speed from the Cloud Soul is going to be extremely nice. But yeah, not going to really do too much for the Nautilus, especially since once he goes in, he's kind of stuck in there. Yeah. The Shin, same thing. Talia, maybe it helps her out a little. It's not the best soul, but it's definitely not a worthless soul, I would say.
Yeah, I can see your point. I think that a kind of pseudo get excited for Jinx is always good. Jinx has had a bit of a quiet game so far, but is definitely playing the role of insurance for her side.
Whoa, Griffin flashes forward, misses the hook. TP immediately comes down. I believe this is the Ari coming down. JC's TPing as well. A second TP comes down, but here comes something corny in the backside. Wukong ultimate onto 2. Shin ultimate coming down on top of him. Here comes the Shin taunt. No, it gets canceled by the Renata Q, but here comes the re-engage from Griffin. Is it going to be enough? Great Shin taunt onto 2. Jinx gets excited. A double kill for JC, and now they are running down red team. Overall, a 1-for-2 for the side of for the blue side, but the does go down for Wukong. So overall, it's probably an even trade of gold.
Yeah, what a chaotic fight. I liked it. Jason Crypt, doing a great job. Unfortunately, the Wukong does go down, so good shutdown does go over to I'm not sure who it went over. The Udyr, I think, because of the burn, is he got the kill. So Udyr might become a bit of a menace, but Jinx dropped a lot of damage. Unfortunately for blue side, she was not one of the champions that picked up a kill. So her scaling is gonna get delayed a little bit longer, but still, gold difference is almost neck and neck. It's really just objectives that is keeping the blue side ahead right now.
Yeah, with the shutdown going over, does turn this gold lead that they had into a slightly smaller one. The gold is basically only 500 apart, so they're basically even at this point in the game. I guess when you think about it, like both these teams have hyperscalers as well, so it's kind of hard to gauge which team's going to scale better. Um, so, the fact that Blue Side is ahead with these objectives means that they get to choose the pace of the game, though, right? As I say that, choosing the pace of the game is Griffin, as he does land a hook on a split read. Here comes the trap as well, but here comes the rest of Red Team. The traps actually get everybody, and it disengages the fight.
Yeah, great traps from Swift Duelist, who manages to disengage that. Really well done there. Griffin, his shield not even popped by a fully charged Varus Q. It's looking a little rough for this caster Varus build right now. That again, not we'll get a bit of a spike when it gets the fully stacked Mana Moon, but for now, struggling a little bit.
Yeah, and this Varus is not necessarily going to come online, especially against the Shin and the Wukong for a very long time. He's already behind the curve. He's sitting on this Yomu's, which does offer him a great stat stick, but wow, there's so much damage going on to him. But yeah, he just doesn't have really the lethality or the damage to do anything outside of the squishies. But the squishies are, you have a Jinx and a Talia. The Talia is probably not going to walk up into you. She's just going to hit your front line, and then same thing for Jinx. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for him to land his damage on the right target. So it's going to mean a lot if he's able to land any meaningful damage. Firefight, meanwhile, taunts forward, trying to pick out P Diddy. Griffin's here. Hook has to burn the flash. And Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds. His Gangplank has wasted flash, and ultimate could spell disaster for Red Team.
Yeah, and I mean, Gangplank, two big tools gone. Flash, the old. I think that's really going to be the thing that Red Side's going to miss the most ahead of this big team fight. But obviously they have no idea what the gold is looking like right now. But I think this is pretty much Red Side's best chance at really getting back into the game and shifting the momentum in their favor.
And we're going to see how well they can enter this team fight, as they are kind of stuck on this ramp, and Griffin and Swift Duelist are holding it. Split read kind of walks in, hook lands onto him. Here comes the Renata ultimate and the Varus ultimate, but all of the tools are used at once. Taco Gat gets knocked backwards by JC. Wukong ultimate onto 3, so much damage. TA Bean barely surviving. Firefight is taken down. Something corny is taken down, and Red Team has kited this fight perfectly. Blue Team bit off more than they could chew.
Wow, Red Side by the skin of their teeth coming ahead in this fight. No, like you said, they cut it really well. I'm surprised. I thought something corny did a great job engaging on them. Getting them that low. Unfortunately, the Jinx was, I guess, not really able to kind of get that momentum going to clean up the fight. And Red Side's gonna
Well,
die.
maybe not. Swift Duelist walks up, almost lands the zap, but here comes JC on the backside, killing spree for him. JC is him. So much damage going onto this Jinx. She gets taken down. JC not going to have the damage. TAB finally re-engages back into the fight, takes down Griffin, and they tried to relook, but overall they just gave up more kills, more gold over the side of Red Team, and now they have a 1k gold advantage, and they've stopped the dragon stacking.
Wow, so this game blown open right again. The past maybe 10-15 minutes have just been blue side waiting to really blow the top off of this game, just make it 100% theirs, and red side is clawing, trying to stay in the game, doing the best they can, and they managed to do it. Like we talked about before the fight started, this was probably red side's best opportunity to get back into the series, into this match, and they've done it. They're ahead in gold now, and I'm sure from their perspective, they have the momentum going. They're feeling good about themselves. So we'll see if it translates to future fights, future objectives, or if maybe it was just a one-off fluke by blue side.
Yeah, I think blue side still has the gold on, the couple good members. The gold is on the Wukong, the gold is on the Talia, so they still have ways to fight this. Unfortunately, this Jinx is not as accelerated as she could be, trying to finish this Infinity Edge up, but not necessarily has the damage to eat through this Udyr alone. I think if blue team really wants to try to win these team fights, they're going to have to sort of eat the members of red team one by one. I don't think the AoE wombo that they're trying to go for with this Wukong is necessarily working very well, because he doesn't really have the damage to kill them, and they're kiting him out. They're making it their lives for so long because of the area control that they have with the Renata ultimate, with the Varus ultimate. And when the Renata W comes down, when he gets so close to killing someone, if he dies in return, they just get back up. So, maybe blue team has to play this a little slower. They were a little aggressive, and it bit them in the ass. But they do have control of this Baron. They do have control of the top side of this river. How can they set this up, to sort of make them win this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Again, they're going to have to, both sides, I think, are going to have to play a little cleaner than they have been. Red side has looked a lot better in these past 5-ish minutes or so. I think that Udyr finally coming online is making life very difficult for red side. That JC is strong, and he's managed to put himself in a position where he continues to be a threat. But I think ultimately it's really going to be a matter of when is this Jinx going to come online, and is she really going to be able to take over?
Yeah, Splitbury might have caught himself out, though. He tries to aggress onto Griffin, thinking that they were alone, but something corny's just in his pocket the whole time. 600 gold shut down, and now control over this Baron. Red team does not have a jungler, but if they give up this Baron, this could mean the game. So I think they're going to have to try to fight this.
Something corny doing a really good job there, but the gangplank,
ultimate comes down, Ahri comes down, but not going to be enough damage. She instantly gets hooked. Great Nautilus ultimate onto 3. Shin goes forward, attaches out P Diddy. Swift Duelist is excited. So much damage going down, but the Varus ultimate is going to keep them alive. And now with 5 people up, they're just going to walk away from the Baron.
Yeah, I guess they are going to walk away from the Baron. I like Shen was huge that fight, saved the Jason group from certain doom. Really, really good presence of mind from him there to recognize that Talia has the bounty. She's important to our team. She's in danger, and I'm going to ult her middle of the fight. He could have panicked and picked the Jinx, but he didn't. A positive fight for blue slightly swings the gold in their favor. And it's still neck and neck. It's still a really close game, and I think we're gonna see another big fight when this Windrake shows back up.
Yeah, it looks so good for red side at first. TA Bean found a wonderful flank on the 3 people, did so much damage, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. His team wasn't close enough to follow up on it, and Griffin with God hands instantly hooks the Ahri, instantly locks her down. So much damage gets traded back on her that she's not able to find a kill before, like you said, the Shen ultimate came down, saved JC's life, and then Griffin had a 3-man ultimate on the 3, which just disengaged the entire fight and caught P Diddy out, and he got instantly blown up.
What does Wukong have overheal?
That's his, I believe, smite. His green moss.
His green moss. Okay, is that what the shield that he has? Okay.
Yeah, it gives him a shield, and while the shield persists, he gets tenacity and everything. Great trade coming up from JC.
Okay, I thought we were seeing a little bit of overheal shenanigans on this Wukong.
That would have been really interesting.
But it looks like blue has the first move on the river, but they are getting poked out pretty well by this Varus.
Yeah, so they don't necessarily have the range to hold this river forever, so they're going to have to try to find a pick, or try to find an engage on the red team, or red team can just give it up, or it's just going to be a little bit hard for them to sort of get in here, as they don't really have a big front line to just walk in and tank whatever damage or whatever hook that's going to come down. So I think overall they're going to side on this mid lane, and now the hesitancy coming out from blue side means that they're going to have to take the fight. Great Varus, or great Wukong ultimate onto 4, so much damage. Renata gets taken down, Jinx gets excited, but now Wukong gets taken down as well. Overall it's a 2 for 1.
but they don't necessarily have the re-engage. Jinx ultimate lands, not going to be enough damage. Firefight might get caught out here. So much damage going on him. Here comes JC with the wall, dominating this team fight. Gets a kill, but finally gets taken down. 1,000 gold shutdown going over to P Diddy, and it's overall a 3-for-2 over. Good side for blue. But Flash Hook comes out. Flash Taunt comes out. So much damage. P Diddy gets taken down. The root comes down. Heart Steel procs. Here comes the zap. Picks up an ace.
What a fight. Heroic efforts from a lot of people in this fight. Pretty much hero play after hero play coming out from everybody to, yank control back and forth. But at the end of the day, blue side had more heroes and they're going to, win the fight. Firefight and Griffin closing out the fight and taking down the Gangplank, who got a pretty fat shutdown, all things considered, from JC.
Yeah, that 1,000 gold shutdown is still huge. The Baron is going to go over to the side of blue team, but this Gangplank is now sitting on 4.5 items just about, and it's the same amount of items that JC has, right? And JC has been super fed, been super farmed this whole game, and now this Gangplank has finally caught up. He's a hyper carry. Jinx only on 3 items, so she can't really match him in terms of damage. So blue team does have control of the map right now. They're going into the river right now to try to fight this. TP's coming down from red team. They're not going to give this up without a fight.
Yeah, and like we said, this is going to be the next big fight of the game.
Or maybe they will.
Yeah, I guess never mind.
Double TP expended from red team, and they just decide, you know what? Never mind, I'm good.
Yeah, I guess they're not going to take a fight. A little surprised. I won't lie, but
Fusion caught out though. Great zap into a hook. JC picks up the kill. Gangplank ultimate comes down for disengage, but doesn't matter.
yeah, pretty interesting decisions here. Yeah, I mean, it's just looking like a slow burn for the side of blue side. It's in their favor. They're scaling up. Gangplank is still looking really scary though, so they should be careful.
Yeah, any of these arrows land, it gets called disaster. Great combo from Jinx, burns the Renata ultimate for disengage, and we do see the Shin on the bottom side of this map taking. Oh my God, Swift Duelist! Just great combo, great zaps. Lands the ultimate onto TA Bean, takes him down, and now this is probably going to be inhibs unless red team can find some kind of pick, but they're not going to be able to.
Yeah, great job. The Jinx is looking massive here. Finally had her time to shine, and it might be game over pretty soon for red side unless they're able to pull something out of nowhere.
Oh, Varus ultimate barely goes wide, just grazing the cheek of Jinx, and she is going to be able to just not have to burn that cleanse. Another Q lands onto her though. She is half health, but I think that blue team has gotten what they wanted. They've gotten the double inhibs. They've opened up the base of red team, and now they have so much pressure on the map. They have so many options right now. They could set up vision on the top side. They could start taking away these camps. They could start choking out red team, and I think with the power position that the blue team has, it's going to be on them to throw this game.
Yeah, I mean, red side is just kind of getting slowly choked out. Blue side, again, doing a really, really good job of, playing their comp. Everybody knows their role. Everybody playing their role, doing what they need to. Shen, again, has fallen behind in items and gold. That was never, his job. His job is to protect his carries, and he's done a good job. He's protected Jason Crypt. He's protected Swift Duelist plenty of times from, what seemed to be certain death, and has even, set up kills to shut down important targets on the other side. P. Diddy, again, is still scaling, is about to be full build, and could very well 1v9, with a good team fight. So I know the goal difference is still 7,000, but there is a 34-minute Gangplank in this game, so I'm not going to count out red side just yet.
Yeah, especially if he lands any kind of barrel chain onto the Jinx and takes her out of the fight immediately and she's not able to hit anything. From the side of red team, they have the tools to keep the fight going. They have the Varus ultimate, they have the Ahri ultimate, they have Dorado ultimate. They have tools to do this, but Taco Cat gets caught out. It might be able to walk out of here. The Nautilus ultimate lands onto Fusion. Here comes the Ahri with her own ultimate, but walks right into traps. No, Swift Duelist might be caught out. Gangplank ultimate comes onto her. Renata ultimate onto 3. The fight is just going crazy, but no kills have gone over to either side yet. JC has to flash out. Griffin, where are you going? Or but the Jinx is on the backside of this fight, doing so much damage. Great knockback onto Split Breed. No one's died yet. JC finally takes the first. Shin ultimate comes down, and that crazy team fight with so many ultimates only leads to a 1-kill lead. Griffin might be caught out. Here comes P. Diddy with the flash. 1-for-1 so far.
Wow. Wow. 1-for-1 in that fight, and that was like a 2-minute fight. It lasted so long, and only one person died on each side. Just goes to show, how Razor Edge. Oh,
Whoa, but here comes Fuji, gets caught up with the Shin taunt, and now Swift Duelist is excited. So many autos, so much damage coming down. Can P. Diddy clutch this out? This is all on you, bud. Can you win the game for your team, or are you going to lose here? So much damage going on the next sense, it's not going to be enough. Blue team takes the game.
yeah, that was it was a good game. I enjoyed watching this one. Obviously, there was some messy things, but that's to be expected from ragtag teams, kind of getting thrown together. Uh, but great showing. I thought Jason Crypt played really well. Was really central to getting his team ahead. All over the map. Did a really good job. Firefight. Playing very selfless. There were some interesting mechanical plays from him, but other than that, he seemed to have known, like, he knew what his role was, and he played it very well. And Red Side, I thought that they had a good comp going for them. I just don't think that they necessarily played to its strengths early on.
Yeah, I agree. Split Breed, getting caught out a lot, getting counter gamed a lot by something corny. I think great reads from him, understanding where he needed to be on the map, made it Split Breed's life, very difficult. And P Diddy, I think he did well as well. He was just scaling the top lane, became a big threat. Unfortunately, wasn't enough to win the game for his team, but it's a valiant effort.
Yeah, yeah, definitely did try his best to keep them in, but it was not enough, unfortunately. Well, that was game two of the night between Blue and Red Side for our Dorado Gaming and Team Ambition scouting combine for the Platinum teams. We're going to go on a short break. CCS match is still going on, so make sure you guys tune in while we get ready for our last set of matches of the night, and we will be right back. All right, welcome back. We're getting started on this final game of the night between blue and red side. We have some different faces going on, and I'll share them soon. We can get the links in there. But we're underway in the draft, and I'm interested in seeing how people wrap up their third game of the night. They're probably a little more tired. They probably have some experience with and against these players. That they're facing off right against right now, and I'm interested in how it's going to impact how they approach the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're starting to wind down for a night. Some players might be warmed up and good to go, but other players are probably, they've already popped off game one and two. They might be winding down a little bit, but looking at the bans already, we see pretty standard bans for both these teams based off of what we've seen before. The Zaya ban is, of course, targeted at Noctisera. Taco Cat gets his Milio banned again. Gragas gets banned away from Tough Daddy. And, the Jarvan again going or actually we have a new jungler. It's CB Sir Jackson this time. So the Jarvan and the Hecarim bans are for him, and the Jinx ban is of course for Mukai. So obviously we've already seen some pretty crazy games. I'm curious to see what this B1's going to be. The Jinx is off the table. Could be a jungler, I suppose.
Yeah, the two jungle bands coming out, and we'll see what they decide to lock in first here. Uh, I mean, I wonder what the priorities are. The Jinx is gone, Jarvan's gone, Gragas is gone, all common first piece, and the Zeri B1. What do you think of that contested
I
pick?
think
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so because this is going to be going over to Mukai, but on the enemy team we have Noxera, who we know pulled up the Zeri game one and had a pretty decent pop off game minus a few things. So it's probably more of a takeaway. The Yumi is banned for the scouting combine, so we're not going to be seeing a Yumi with her, but we could see the Lulu unless Red Side decides to take that away.
Yeah, and I think it's a pretty interesting decision to lock in the Zeri, but it makes sense when like you said, Noxera has already picked it, and it's I guess a priority pick that you're contesting it. Musha taking it away from something that the Noxera could play, confident enough. But the Senna coming out, could we be seeing a Senna Sejuani bot lane?
I mean, the Sejuani flex, flex is four different ways. Now five, technically, if you have Senna. But yeah, I mean, it would be pretty powerful in certain situations. But I think the Senna R2 is obviously going to throw a wrench in the plans of Blue Side because now they're not entirely sure where things are going, especially since you're probably not going to even gonna figure out the Senna matchup until later on in the draft. The Wukong answer is pretty good. Wukong's a pretty strong jungler right now. He did get nerfed on 13.6, but it's wasn't a huge enough nerf. He's still pretty prio pick, and a Rakan as well, and that is probably going to block some of the answers that Senna might have wanted. So
Mhm.
it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do R3, whether or not they're going to break the Senna flex or if they're just going to try to hold it as long as possible.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Rakan is going to make some of the picks that Senna probably would want to be paired with a little rougher, but the Seraphine is still up. I don't know what you think about the Seraphine Senna combination into this matchup.
It really depends on how well the Seraphine can space herself. As long as she doesn't get caught by Rakan, she could probably just free scale, and obviously they have Prio in this lane. But then now you have to build a Seraphine comp, which is going to be a little difficult, and it's just going to be, I believe, Sinacho bot lane, which is a pretty strong bot lane. Not the best versus Rakan, depending on how he spaces, but this is basically just a hyper scaling bot lane. They just want to get to the mid game. The Cho'Gath is a big wall, and then hopefully Senna will have her stacks by then and an item, and they'll be able to kite things out. They're building a very meaty comp with not a lot of point and click CC versus Zeri, which could be an issue, but I think they're banking on the fact that the Zeri is just not going to be an issue, or she's not going to do enough damage to kill the two walls that they've already built.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really, really beefy comp from Red Side so far. Sen is going to have a good time, being protected by her front line. This could very well be a Senicho Gath bot lane for all we know. So the flexibility is definitely in Red Side's favor. Blue Side, is a quick comp. They're good at skirmishing. I like their skirmishing power, but I'm not so sure how helpful it's going to be against two, big fat tanks with the Senna behind them.
Yeah, and the Fiora ban as well tries. I think it's trying to preserve the Sejuani flex into the top lane, so we could potentially see a mid lane R4 here. I think we want to see just a little bit more damage from red side though. They have two beefy tanks and a Senna, but the Senna's it's fasting. It's not going to have the best gold. So you're definitely going to need more damage on the side of red side. So I think this last ban right here is going to be very telling on what they want to potentially blind, and it might actually be a top lane blind.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what they decide to ban. I mean, the top lane bans do tell me that we're going to see a top lane blind. We might have already seen it in the Cho'Gath. That's the beauty of the flex power that we have from red team.
Yeah, and the Syndra getting taken away from Tough. We haven't talked about it, but this mid lane is going to be insane because we have two of the best like plat lane mid laners in plat competitive. We have Sluter on blue side and Tough Daddy on red side. These guys are very very good at mid lane. They're very good mechanically, so I'm super excited to see what kind of matchup we're going to see between them. The Ari band coming down as well. I think Sluter's trying to say that Tough Daddy, you're not going to just going to be able to auto shove lane and run away from me. You're going to have to fight me, so give me a good lane matchup.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be a Clash of the Titans in the mid lane. Definitely not. I'm excited to watch it. Hopefully, the direct camera, has this over. The Gangplank blind. Sorry to like lose my train of thought, but the Gangplank coming out blind here, uh, pretty interesting decision. Explains the Camille Fiora bans. Gives some scaling to red, but they're definitely going to need some big AP firepower in their R5.
Yeah, and this is also a flex, by the way, because P Diddy and Tough Daddy both play this. So this is actually a pretty strong pick here. I think it's most likely means that we're probably going to see Senecho bot, Sedge jungle, and depending on the lane matchup that blue side picks here, we're probably going to we're going to see some kind of solo lane R5 come down. The Cassiopeia blind, uh, that's pretty interesting because I don't think I've ever seen Sluter play Cassiopeia, and I know he hates playing against that champion. So I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, I think it does decently well against the Gangplank if it does get flexed mid, and I think we're probably just going to see another Gangplank counter come down for topside, and then they're just going to you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, because this Gangplank has to go to a solo lane.
Yeah, I mean the Gangplank is not gonna have a lot of fun. Wukong and Cassiopeia shown into it. Let's see how Blue decides to round it off. But yeah, like you said, I'm a little surprised. Oh, the Gwen. Yeah, this Gangplank might not have any fun this game. Good tank shredding answers into the Cho and Sejuani. So let's see how Red decides to round their comp off. If anything, I do think the Cassiopeia was a bit of a takeaway. I don't know that Tough plays the champion, but I do think I don't know about you, but if I'm on Red, I want a Cassiopeia R5. Maybe not
Yeah,
want, but it'd be really really nice. I would really like it.
yeah. I mean, cause it's a heavy AP champion, and you need heavy AP right now, right? And you have like three champions: the Wukong, Zeri, the Rakan, both with dashes, both want to kind of come into you. So it is a pretty decent pick, and the set being picked, which means I think this Gangplank is going mid with set top, Cho, Cinnabot, and Sejuani in the jungle.
Hmm. So okay, so it's definitely the Gangplank mid. I don't know why I didn't piece it together. It's Tough Daddy. He's loves the Gangplank. It's almost permabanned against him. And I'm not sure how I feel about the set as an answer to Gwen. I think it's it can bully the Gwen really well early on, but I also think that if you get put behind by a good jungle gank, or if the Gwen survives long enough, it's almost impossible for you to play as the set. The moment you walk up, you're gonna get ulted by the Gwen, and she's gonna run you down and kill you.
Yeah, I mean, and eventually you're just gonna get like outscaled by the Gwen, right? Like eventually Set just doesn't get to play the game versus Gwen. She's just gonna have so much more damage and so much more
Yeah,
healing. That being said, we have such a beefy meatball comp coming out from the red side, but you have tank shredding tools on the side of blue. Fortunately for them, the Cassiopeia and the Gwen, two I assume counters for the Gangplank, also tank shred very, very well. And if you try to build just nothing but MR to try to avoid that, now you have a Zeri Wukong, which Wukong's going to shred your armor, and then Zeri's going to shred you. So they have the damage to do with the meatball comp that Red Side has. The only issue is getting on to Red Side, right? Because they can play their range with the Gangplank Barrows, they can play their range with the Sinecus. And eventually you're gonna have to go into them, and going into them when your only engage is really a Wukong or Rakan, it could be a little scary. So it's going to be interesting to see how these team fights play out. I think both teams have tools to deal with each other, but at the same time, it honestly looks like it might be a little bit of it might be a little bit of a clusterfuck, is what I'm trying to say.
No, I definitely agree with you. I think that these fights are going to be pretty interesting. I think both sides are going to have to play really, really well, to say the least, uh, to be able to get ahead this series. Otherwise, I think this could get very ugly for both sides. And I hope to see. I'm excited to watch. Watch these teams. Navigate the game, and see. I want to see what they decide to do, how they decide to approach this. Personally, if I'm on blue side, I probably try to get my Gwen ahead so that she can shred through the super beefy red side. Your solo lanes have really good shredding power, but like you said, it's really hard for red side to completely, to atomize super well against this team because you rush your force of nature. Now your Wukong and your Zeri are shredding you, and or vice versa. You itemize against these AD champions, and Cassiopeia and Gwen are, shredding a 5,000 HP tank like they're nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I do think the blue side that they sort of have an easier comp to pilot, especially when you have 5 randoms on your team. The easier, the simpler, the better. Red side kind of has to space perfectly, has to land their cooldowns in sync with each other. So it kind of is on the onus, I think, of red side to outplay blue side more than it is for blue side to outplay red side. I think if they just front to back, just hit front, just CC whatever you can, they're probably going to win every fight. But that being said, that's all I have to say for these teams. I'm excited to see what's going to happen, and I'm super excited for Sluter versus Tough Daddy.
Yeah, I'm excited for that matchup. It's probably going to be my match. All right, welcome back. We're getting started here on this last game of the night uh, between blue and red side. We got some fresh faces, but I think most of these players have been in here at some point already.
Yeah, and a great play coming out from the bot side of blue team. Mukai and Koyesh are able to aggro on this Noxera, but the flash makes it so the turnaround is really good. Mukai has to flash that as well. Overall, negative trade for the red side. Meanwhile, mid lane, Sejuani's coming in for a gank onto Sluter. So much damage goes down. The stun comes down. Tough lands a double barrel, and Sluter's just dead. CB Sir Jackson comes, tries to trade it back and forth. He does a 1-for-1, but a kill going on to Sluter, or a kill going on to Tough Daddy means that Sluter's going to be behind in that lane.
Yeah, big play, a little greedy from Sluter. I think Sluter could have easily lived there. He didn't. I don't even think he would have needed to flash to survive. If he had been a little less greedy on his play.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but in the bot lane, Mukai is gonna get caught out here. The the knockup does land onto her. Finally gets taken down by Taco Cat, but it's a trade 1-for-1. And now here comes CB Sir Jackson. There's no wards for the side of red team because both of the wards went into the bush. He still has flash, could possibly make it out of here depending on where he chooses to flash. Great knockup again, but the knockup from Rakan is going to force the flash. And overall, it's still a 1-for-1.
Taco Cat played that really, really well in my opinion. I think that he could have been pretty rough.
Yeah, and CB Sir Jackson's caught out again, but Taco Cat is not in a good spot. Gets taken down, but again, a 1-for-1.
Yeah, I feel like he could have been out pretty safely, but he decided to hover around a little longer than necessary.
Yeah, decided to help out his jungler just a little bit, just to make sure that he secured the Scuttle Crab. But yeah, I mean, overall, just the trades going back and forth. I think overall they're going to benefit the red side just a little bit better, just because blue sides they kind of want to scale more. So getting even gold like this, getting accelerated, could be potentially bad for them, just because the stat checkers on the side of red side could be, you know, pretty problematic at these early game objectives.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Sluter getting some damage onto Gangplank, but Gangplank's gonna walk away, not really too bothered.
Yeah, not really too bothered too much. We take a look at where these kills went. One kill going over for the Gangplank, one kill on Sejuani, and one kill on the Cho'Gath for the side of the red team means that, you know, the gold's going to be pretty evenly spread out. Unfortunately, Koyesh was the one to pick up a kill, but as I say that, another fight looking like in the bot lane. Mid lane is a bit of a trade, but can Koyesh find anything? CB Sir Jackson is here again. Great knockup on the two. Noxera is going to get taken down. The kill goes over to the Wukong. And, you know, this bottom lane that was supposed to be a little bit safe is just getting bullied. Meanwhile, speaking of getting bullied, Sluter caught out again, gets stunned. Here comes Tough Daddy, but Sluter says, nope, I'm just going to try my best to trade it back and forth. And Tough Daddy autos a minion, but barely stays alive, and Sluter gets ganked again.
Yes, Sluter getting punished. No flash. Barely manages to, barely misses out on his kill on Tough Daddy, but he's been relatively dominant in the lane. CS-wise, despite the two ganks, but Sir Jackson has kind of just been all over the map, being really impactful for the blue side. This is the fight he wins.
Yeah, and another trade in the mid lane, and not really a fight he does win, just because the Aftershock Sejuani makes that early trade so good for her. Even though the Wukong is up kills, he's just down a level because he's been, you know, so on the map.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job of helping his team out, but the Sejuani is still pretty strong. Not going to be someone he can fight for a while until maybe he gets his Divine Sunder. But Sejuani doing a really good job of farming and also, being impactful, getting the Gangplank ahead. Really good combination between the melee mid and the Sejuani.
A little bit of a pick going to the top lane, though. Peels gets stunned up, gets pulled back. The Ghost is going to go down, but here comes a set ultimate flash ulter into the tower.
Yeah, and remind me of something from game one. Was something corny Tuff's jungler game one, or was he on the other side?
He was not Sarah's jungler, yes.
Okay, so I mean, it looks like Tuff has his junglers on Sejuani.
Yeah, it looks like he's on Sejuani data, but he's doing a pretty good job so far. KP of 4, he's been a part of 80% of the kills so far for his team, and he's even got a farm advantage over CB Sir Jackson. So, I think so far from what we've seen of Something Corny, he's a very solid jungler. He seems to know where he needs to be. He's always a part of the KP, getting the kills that he needs to. And if we take a look at the CS advantage, Mukai has a 16 CS advantage over this Cho'Gath. Mid lane, Sluter still holds that CS advantage of 10, despite the fact that he was ganked twice. And top's pretty even, but set with the kill means that, he's probably just going to be a bit stronger than her until something changes up there. A little bit of trade going back and forth, but overall, it's still an even game. That being said, the early game is supposed to go over to the side of red, so the fact that blue team has evened up the kills a little bit is a good thing for them. Tough, trading a little bit of damage on the Sluter. Great barrel combo into a Q means that Sluter has to think twice about walking up like that.
Yeah, really good job from both mid laners. I mean, it's obviously junglers should be impacting their lanes, but I kind of wish it was a bit more of a solo endeavor between both lanes, just for the fun of it.
Yeah, speaking of jungles impacting lanes, here comes Something Corny. Great Sejuani lands onto them. The Gangplank ult comes down on top. Wukong's here to counter gank, but it's not going to be enough. So much damage. Taco Cat barely survived. He gets taken down by CB Jackson, but now Mukai is dead, and CB Sir Jackson is not in a spot where he wants to be. A double kill goes over to the Senna, and it's a 3-for-1 for red side.
Yeah, really good play there from Something Corny to come and save his bot lane. And now red side is starting to pull ahead a little bit. About 1,500 gold lead for red team this time around.
Yeah, and that's a good lead and where they want to be in terms of the strengths in their comp in this early game. So, being able to secure this early dragon as well as we do see Something Corny soloing that right now is going to be quite big for them, because being able to dragon stack early when you're a stronger early game team means that the team that is better late game has to come into you quite early. So, stacking these up is going to be really good. It's going to be a win con in approximately 15 minutes, so around the 25-minute mark or so.
Yeah, it's going to definitely force blue side to come into them, even though they scale better. The pressure from red side it's going to require blue side to react. And I think they can. I don't think it's really that much of a doomer game just yet. Really, the difficulties are coming with Zeri and Cassiopeia being kind of held down by Something Corny's, jungle presence all around. I think Sir Jackson has done a good job of trying to match it, but I think that Something Corny has just been a little bit more effective.
Yeah, I mean, Something Corny is just kind of popping off this game. I think he's exactly where he needs to be every time. He's got 7 KP out of 8 for his team, so definitely just a big powerhouse in this early game. And he's even got 10 farm up over on this Wukong. So not only is he ganking more, he needs to be where he is more. He's also just farming more. So I think this is a statement game. Even though it might be a little bit difficult to have a statement game on Sejuani, Something Corny is definitely doing it.
Yeah, definitely showing that he is.
Whoa, Noxera might have walked up a little bit too far. Damage gets traded back and forth. Koyesh, though, takes so much damage. Taco Cat flashes forward, trying to eat him. Rupture lands onto Mukai. It's just going to be a trade of summoner spells.
Yeah, the flash coming out from Koyesh to get away from the big Taco Cat engage. And it's been a pretty interesting ball lane, back and forth. I think I've enjoyed it. We'll see Mr. Jackson fight his counterpart.
Yeah, it looks like he will. Clone comes out, just gets a little bit of damage. Yeah, this bottom lane match is going to be really interesting. Noxera is so aggressive on this Senna. We saw him in the first game on Zeri, how mechanically good he was at the game. And now he's just not afraid at all. He just goes forward, trying to take as many trees as he can. Meanwhile, Peel's in the top lane. Great Q flash coming out from Something Corny, but the ultimate goes wide as Gwen is immune.
Yeah, really trying his best to get onto the game, but good job from that Gwen to survive that engage there from red side. He's definitely going to become a hope.
Whoa, but it looks like Noxera again biting off more than you can chew, tries to mechanically outplay them, but here comes CB Sir Jackson ganking, and it's a kill going over to Mukai.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a game of junglers.
Peels is getting dove under tower, though. The set ultimate back into the back tower, and then the Haymaker does so much true damage, and this counter pick set is doing work.
Yeah, great job. set the Gwen was trying to survive. She was trying to thin the wave with her ult, but the set played it really well. Didn't even have to flash. Gets the ult in and takes down the Gwen. And now set isn't in that position we talked about where he could be in danger if he doesn't manage to get ahead. He's definitely managed to create a lead for himself and is keeping that Gwen from reaching that monstrosity that can actually run him down.
Yeah, she's going to need just even more time to scale, but Sluter aggressing on the Tough Daddy here in the mid lane, still keeping that CS advantage despite being ganked twice. You can see Sluter's just doing a great job in this Cassiopeia. Ultimate goes wide though, doesn't even burn the oranges. Tried to outplay him there, tried to go for the solo kill, but Tough Daddy sniffed it out and the perfect dodge backwards.
Yeah, really well played from Tough Daddy there. Not let Sluter have his way with him. And something I wanted to talk about earlier that I failed to really mention is how well Koyesh played that fight earlier, where they managed to pick up 2 kills with Sir Jackson. He got a good double knockup, and he instantly Zayas so that he would not be blown up right away. It was really pivotal for that play. And Sir Jackson again. This is a battle of the jungle. Both junglers really doing their best to put pressure on the map. They're doing everything they can, and let's see who comes out on top.
Yeah, great trade coming out from P. Diddy. The Bork proc onto Peels makes him half HP. It makes him a potential dive target, but P. Diddy just going to decide against it. Still has time to do that. And speaking of junglers, something Gorny has found himself into this bottom bush. He's slowly waiting, biding his time, trying to find some kind of way to come out. But I think if they were paying attention, they might have saw that the Sejuani passive, I believe, is going on to Cho'Gath. Not sure if that's visible for them. Meanwhile, top lane, P. Diddy trying to go for a trade. Not going to be able to find it. Koyesh might go forward here, but if he goes forward, he might be going into a bad situation. Here comes the ultimate from Mukai, but here comes something corny, but a great disengage from the Rakan means that they could just run them over. Here comes Sluter coming up from the mid lane. The poison not going to be able to land for Sluter, but it doesn't matter because Mukai gets a double kill, and despite something corny being there early, it doesn't matter because the Rakan is just so slippery. All their damage went onto him, and he just went out of the fight immediately.
Yeah, and once again, Sir Jackson and Koyesh just looking like a great duo, doing a really good job together to get this place set up. A little bit back and forth.
Oh, looks like the set is just going to ult Peels out of the tower. He did have to ult in order to try to save this tower as the tower got so low, but I can't imagine Peels can really stay here, and it looks like it might be the tower for P. Diddy if he chooses to take it.
Yeah, and I think P. Diddy's just being so dominant up there. Peel's not really able to do anything. The Sejuani, did the right thing. Went up there, helped her set like once, and then he did what he had to do and took over the game. That's kind of what you want from your top laner. You don't want to be up there all the time. Necessarily, you want to be able to impact the rest of the map. He did. He said, just gank me 1 or 2 times, and I'll take over the game. And that's what he's doing. Really commendable from him to run away from the lead he was given by his jungler.
Yeah, and meanwhile in the mid lane, Sluter taking a really good trade onto Tough Daddy. So much damage, takes half his health bar, even with the oranges. And yeah, I think P. Diddy is doing really well this game. He got 1 gank, and he's already dominating this Gwen. This matchup, it will get better for the Gwen, I believe, over time, but it's going to be a while until she gets there. So it's going to be tough for her for a little while longer.
Yeah, it's gonna get probably a little worse before it gets better, but it's okay. We're waiting for the game for the scaling to come in. They've done a really good job. They had the tower at about half health. I'm interested in seeing, will the Cho'Gath get beefy enough to be an issue? I like the Glacial. It's low gold, but it's not really.
Oh, but here comes Koyesh with the engage onto Noxera, and Noxera just gets blown up so fast. This Senna is just so squishy, and CB Sir Jackson just bullying this bottom lane. Meanwhile, on the top side, Peels tries to go for the Rift Herald, trying to stop it, but he might be caught out. Sluter here for the disengage, though. So, meanwhile, while Blue's side did get the tower and did get the kill on the Senna, they do trade back with the Rift Herald on the top side.
Yeah, very good answer to get the Rift Herald there. You're not letting uh, the uh, the bot lane game go completely unanswered. Once again, really great synergy between Koyesh and Sir Jackson, who have pulled off these bottom lane ganks really well together. You can and it's seamless too. Like Sir Jackson, the moment he's in lane, Koyesh pulls off the engage. We're not seeing any kind of delays or hesitation. Um, Sir Jackson says, "I'm on my way," and Koya says, "Got it," and they engage.
Yeah, the jungler and support are working beautifully with one another, finding exactly what they need. Meanwhile, something corny found Sluter. Great Sejuani ultimate, but here comes 4 people on the enemy team, and they're just going to be able to just walk away with having to only burn Tough Daddy's flash, but that could have been disastrous for Red Side.
Yeah, it could have been really scary for Red Side. They managed to get away, no harm done quite yet. But yeah, like you said, they're gonna put down the Rift Herald. The gold is again neck and neck. A pretty exciting game, probably the most balanced game we've seen all night, and it's to be expected. There's a lot of experienced faces here, and the new faces even they're showing up. They're playing really well. Koyesh, a gold scene mainstay. Sir Jackson, about a year in comp, a split or two in comp, barely coming up from gold. On the other side, P Diddy and something corny are on the newer side, and they're not looking at a place in the season.
Yeah, I agree. And speaking out of place, Sluter might be out of place as well because so much CC lands on him. Great flash, dodges most of the combo. The Ignite is going to take him to half HP though. Sluter is just not having a good game today. He's just constantly getting ganked, constantly getting caught out. Might be able to trade something back and forth here, but it looks like they're just going to give up the tower as CB Sir Jackson is nowhere to be seen right now.
Yeah, CB Sir Jackson not around to cover for. Oh no, my knee's right there. With the dragon coming up in about a minute, we're getting another win, so kind of anticlimactic. Uh, but I suppose that both sides really like it. So not my favorite, but I suppose it is a little fun to watch when a lot of champions in the game can use it.
Yeah, I think both teams kind of want this win soul. The movement speed is going to be good for the melees to get around. It's going to be good for the Zeri. It's going to be good for the Cassiopeia to kite. So both teams are, they should put a lot of value on this win soul. But blue team is already starting this up. TP coming down from the set on the bottom side right here. CB Sir Jackson has to clone out, and now this is a fight. Peels is a little bit late to the fight, but I don't think it's going to matter because red team is not able to start the dragon just yet, so it's going to take a little bit of time. Great barrel onto Koyesh, takes almost half his health, and a zoning gangplank ult means that red team's going to secure this dragon, and blue team just has to run away with their tail tucked between their legs. Wukong might get caught out here, has to clone. The Rakan ultimate comes down, misses everything though. Mukai ulted 4-man, petrifying gaze, and Sluter shows everybody why he is him. So much damage coming down. Something corny almost gets taken down, but does it.
What a big fight for no one to. Never mind. I spoke just when I cursed. I was gonna say, what a big fight for no one to die, but it's unfortunately something corny goes down at the end there.
Yeah, and blue team, no time to waste. They're gonna use this time to start the Baron up, and with no jungler on the side of red team, I can't imagine that this is gonna be a steal or anything like that. And this is gonna even out the gold to be able to get this, but red team's not gonna give this up without a fight. Poison lands down onto Noxera, and blue team, they decide that just little bit of pressure is gonna pull them off the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised that they decided to back off, but I guess they want to play it safe. They don't want to flip the coin, and I kind of respect that. I wish I want to see some booga booga, but I understand they're not too willing to do that themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine to play it safe here. They are the better scaling comp, so I guess there is no need to 50-50 a fight at the Baron. So, overall, might have not been the preferred play for me personally, but overall, I could see why, it could be a good play. It could be a smart play. Because why 50-50 the game? necessarily at Baron when you could take your time and just scale, start hitting out some of these outer towers, start getting gold, and 22 minutes in the game, red team has a 1,500 gold lead, but at this point right now, that gold lead is not too significant that it should matter too much, especially once this tower goes down, the gold should even out just a little under 1,000.
Yeah, I mean the gold lead is slightly in red team's favor, but like you said, blue team, but being down 1,000 gold with the comp we have on blue side, not really anything to worry about. You're gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. As long as it doesn't balloon out of control, and like you said, that's probably why they're not too eager to take the 50-50s, if not really necessary. They're not under any real pressure just yet.
Yeah, you can see the red side have already invaded into the top side of blue team, but Mukai might get caught out here. W lands, but so does her jump. She does able to get over the wall. It is going to proc shield barrel. Meanwhile, Sluter and Tough Daddy in the 1v1. Who's going to win it? The barrels come out. Tough Daddy's playing his range perfectly. Mid lane, meanwhile, Peels might have cut out something corny. Koyesh on the backside is able to find the setup, but she flashes away, and now CB Sir Jackson might have bite off more than he could chew. Mukai is still alive, though. Hitting. Peels is still here as well. So much damage, and red team is trying to get away, trying to kite this out. Peels might go down here, and he won't. And meanwhile, on the bottom side, it looks like both solo laners decided to disengage that. But here comes Sluter from the mid lane. So much damage going on at Noxera. Mukai is dominating, but she gets pulled back. B Diddy gets the shutdown for her. Sluter is now in a 1v3 or a 3v3 for his life, and then Petrifying Gaze lands onto the set, takes him down. And Sluter, just because he was able to move to the mid lane first, is able to, sort of save that play that looked kind of bad for blue team.
Yeah, really, really good job from Sluter to try to survive that this fight. Just so chaotic. It was really funny. Something that I saw at the beginning. Koyesh had a really good flank angle, but he failed his flash over the wall, I think, or his dash. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened, but I saw him ulting in the Raptor pit, kind of hanging around. So pretty interesting there. But blue side, still down about 1,000 gold. The set, finally taken down, but the gangplank is. It's reminding me of, I think it was last game where the gangplank was really the shining hope for red side. I think that we're going to see that again. We're going to see if Tough can 1v9 with the gangplank.
Yeah, Tough is really well known for his gangplank. It's one of his best champions, and he's spiking really hard now, but CB Sir Jackson again finds out Noxera. Noxera is just not where he wants to be. He is able to survive, and it is the Wukong ultimate down, but he's really low right now. He might not be able to make it back into this back to the fight in time in order to play for the dragon.
And dragon up in 10 seconds, and the set's not there yet. It looks like they're taking a reset, and it looks like red side's just not going to really contest this one. It's going to be a 2-2 for dragons, and it's anyone's soul after this game. Look at that healing! Wow.
Yeah, that was a fleet proc, I believe, as well. So the healing's quite big. Meanwhile, Sluter tries to find out Noxera, is going to get kited, gets knocked up, gets rooted, but blue team picking up that dragon is going to be big. That means they buy themselves 10 more minutes potentially before they have to fight for the soul.
Yeah, and I have to commend red side for not jumping on Sluter. I feel like a lot of teams would have seen Sluter caught there, quote unquote, and they would have gone all in on him. But they decided against it, and I think that was the right call. I think they'd probably get wiped if they try to go on Sluter there.
Yeah, something both junglers are doing really well this game is the fact that they're constantly staying out of vision, especially in these sieges. You saw CB Sir Jackson on the bottom side of the river there, just staying out of vision, acting like he wasn't there. Maybe he was trying to flank, who knows. Meanwhile, he's just sitting there for the disengage. If they ever were to engage, he could go in and get an easy 3 to 4 man double Wukong ultimate. And something corny has been doing the same thing, staying out of vision, trying to look for these picks with his Sejuani ultimate. And these junglers are just, very impressive, I think, so far this game.
Yeah, both junglers playing really, really well, being dominant this game. I think they've both been really pivotal for the positions their teams are in, and I'd like to see who's who ends up leading their team to victory. Uh, both junglers neck and neck. I really thought we were gonna see. I thought we were gonna see an engage there onto Moonshine, but she's just gonna walk away.
Everybody's afraid of the Muchai. I understand.
They don't wanna. They don't wanna mess with Moonshine.
So overall, 27 minutes in the game, 14 to 11. Blue side is down about 2,000 gold, but at this point of the game, I think that they've scaled well enough that this 2K gold lead is probably not that big of a deal. Meanwhile, Sluter is level 16, a level up on all solo laners in this game. So he's doing pretty well for himself with this Rod of Ages. He's hit 3 items. He's spiking. Unfortunately, not spiking as much as Tough Daddy is, as he's on 3 items as well, as along with his double crit cloak. He's very strong for red side, and I think we pointed it out before, but, you know, Tough Daddy is kind of sort of the shining hope for red team. If they're going to win, it's going to be through him getting an insane barrel chain. Just hit level 16 off that ward as well. So with the level 3 ultimate providing such big slows, providing such big damage, it's it's going to be all on him to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really important for Tough Daddy to be able to 1v9 this in the Round of Ages for Sluter, really giving value, like you said, putting him ahead. But P. Diddy and Tough Daddy are right behind him on XP. It's going to be a tall task. I think it's really a story of mid jungle and who's going to pull ahead. Obviously, the other pieces around him are important.
Whoa, Noxera, what are you doing? You walked way too far up, but not going to matter too much. Koyesh actually going to try to look for something. Pings are coming down onto the river. They're trying to catch up to Sejuani or whoever they can, but she's just going to be able to walk away. We have a minute 40 on Dragon, so both teams kind of just fighting for vision right now.
Yeah, both teams doing the best they can. But Mushai probably getting picked up.
Yeah, might get picked off. The GP ultimate onto her means that she has to hurry and get out of there, but that's half her HP. And she's a little low, but the Gangplank ultimate being down is kind of big because that cooldown is a bit longer than most ultimates. I'm not sure if I'm not entirely sure if it would be up for Dragon, but pings are going down to the Baron, and red team have sniffed out that blue team has no vision here. Mukai and the rest of blue team trying to walk into here, but Tough Daddy is bush camping, and that's double barrels onto the back line. Tough Daddy goes flashes forward, takes them down, and red team has found a miracle fight. Tough Daddy has a double kill. Is it going to be more? It's a triple kill for Tough Daddy. And now is a 2v5. Peels and Sluter versus the world. If they're going to be able to try to fight this, it needs to be now. Sluter's kind of sniffing around a little bit, but red team had such a good fight.
Yeah, red team doing a really good job there to take advantage of, I think, one of the few windows they were going to have to really slow down blue. It's been neg and neg like we talked about before, but now the gold lead is up to about 4,000, almost 5,000, and it's looking, realistically winnable for red side. Tough Daddy really putting up a fight here, and Peels could be getting caught out. So,
yeah, Tough Daddy's doing such a good job. He's bush cheesing so well in these bushes, and now it's another bush cheese. Peels just gets one tapped. The Gale Force and the barrel combo just kills him, and this dragon is just going over to the side of red. Tough Daddy showing everybody why he is him.
Yeah, Tough Daddy doing a great job, punishing Peels. Kind of overstay. I'm not too sure why he was still there. I don't think it was necessary for him to stay there all that long. He gets what he needs and move on. Unfortunately, don't overstay. He's punished.
It's punished indeed, and now it's a 5k gold lead for red side. They're starting to siege this mid lane here, and with all lanes pushing, they're doing a 1-3-1 type composition, and they're just getting all these lanes pushed in, but none of the solo laners of blue side can really match the solo laners of red side. So this just means that if this keeps going the way it's going, unless blue side finds a really good engage or a really good pick, they're going to lose their whole base.
Yeah, and I mean, I think red side really needs to make sure that they are doing everything they can to end the game as soon as possible.
Meanwhile, here comes CB Sir Jackson again, finds Noxera. Is it going to be enough? Finally takes him down to 2-0 for blue team so far. Here comes Rakan to the backside. Great haymaker onto 4, but it's not going to matter. Drain tank all you want. It does not matter. A 3-0 going over the side of blue team. And Mukai is chasing down something corny, but That's exactly what you want to see if you want blue team to win. They need to find these stages when they're split up in a 1-3-1.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was a really good engage there. Obviously, you do want to do a 1-3-1 if you're red side to apply as much pressure as possible. But then that happens. There's Sir Jackson again. Junglers, we cannot overstate how impactful both the junglers have been in this series. And Sir Jackson there, a great engagement. I'm sure he noticed. Three of them, five of us. The math is easy. Let's just go.
Oh, but the math might be easy indeed. Tough Daddy looking for him. Not going to be able to find him. But Tough Daddy, with that Baron and with the kills that he got, he's sitting on a full build Gangplank. That is a Gale Force, Collector, Navori Essence, Reaver, Gangplank, and he is just so strong right now.
Yeah, I mean, Gangplank is huge, and obviously the fight does not go nearly that well for blue side if Tough Daddy is there. But the gold, the big thing is three people died there for blue side, and the gold is still the same as
Wow, great barrel chain coming up from Tough Daddy, though. They might have found a CP, Sir Jackson. Gale Force comes out, the Q comes out, and you are popped into a GA. But there is no way in hell that blue team's going to get there in time. Tough Daddy is godlike, 1,000 damage crit.
Yeah, and Sir Jackson goes down. Let's see how blue side can approach it now without their big engage from the Wukong. Wow,
Yeah,
this
but
is
red team also doesn't have Baron either, so the siege might not even happen, and it might have just been some gold going over into their pockets.
yeah. I mean, the gold lead is starting to balloon 7,000 right now. This is a somewhat impactful gold lead. Sure, as the game goes on, it matters less and less. Tough Daddy being full build already, he's not going to get much stronger. Bar, selling his boots and getting something else. Let's see.
Yeah, they don't have necessarily the wave to really fight this, and there's a lot of wave clear on the side of blue team. We're gonna have to see if they're going to be able to find engage. Tough Daddy tries for a barrel chain, gets taken down by Sluter though, and now here comes Koyash on the engage. Can he find anyone? Finds the tanks only. The Gangplank ultimate splits the entire team though, and here comes the rest of red team. Tough Daddy is legendary, and this could probably be the game right here. Q flash from something corny lands on Mukai, but doesn't take him down. Tough Daddy, meanwhile, pops the shield bow. Mukai almost takes her down as well. Does, with the collector and the true damage from his passive. And Tough Daddy is just putting on a clinic this game.
Yeah, and it's looking it's looking pretty over for the blue side. I mean, obviously, yes, blue can still scale, but I think red side has gotten to the point where it's going to take a lot of gold for blue side to get into a position where they can fight back. I think that's. I guess red side's going to back off, decide not to finish. I think they could have committed a little more, but they're playing it safe and probably going to go for that win next.
Yeah, the air slow is just going to be huge for red team as well if they're able to secure it. They have so many melees, and giving them the extra move speed allows them to sort of chase down the Zeri, chase down the Cassiopeia a little bit better. So on top of that, I think, oh wow, so Tough Daddy just sold his boots for a Ravenous Hydra. So this man is doing so much damage, so much AoE damage.
Yeah, and he's going to have a good amount of sustain. He's going to be healing a lot from the big damage he's going to be dropping. And that dragon coming up, this might spell, the end for blue side. I think that, I guess Wind Dragon is not as fun on them as it is for blue side. But I guess Set will enjoy a nice win soul.
Yeah, and it looks like blue team is just going to not just give up the dragon for free, because the things are going down on the Baron, but it is sniffed out by Tough Daddy. Great Gangplank ultimate spots them, and they're gonna have to peel off. But Tough Daddy says, no, I'll take this one before Gale forces in. Has to walk out though finally. The rest of his team is finally here, and now they're going to start up this Baron. And unless blue team contests, they have 2 inhibitors down. It's just going to be the game from minions alone.
Yeah, and I mean, blue side has no choice but to run away with their tails between their legs. And I think this might be the final push that will finally finish off red team. I mean, blue side. I don't really see how they're going to stop this onslaught that's coming in from.
Yeah, TP's coming down. This is the final lane that red team needs to siege in order to completely open up the entire base of blue team. So if they're able to take this, great petrifying gaze on the two, but there's no one to follow up, and Sluter gets CC'd. He gets taken down so low, but Peels is here. So much damage going
Ooh.
onto Red Team. Wow. Tough Daddy takes a big chunk, but overall, Red Team's just gonna back up and nobody dies.
And a lot of firepower getting thrown out from both sides. But ultimately, both are just gonna walk away and fight another day and see how this goes.
Wow, that Cassiopeia is doing no damage to that set. He's just so tanky. Now Red Team's just gonna strong arm their way in. Meanwhile, CB Jackson on the backside. Great Wukong ultimate onto two. Meanwhile, Koyash has been taken down by Tough Daddy, but it's not gonna be enough. There's just no damage, and Red Team is just strolling in to end the game. Peels gets taken down by Noxetra. Double kill for Tough Daddy. Is it going to be a triple kill? It's not. It's just going to run away. Meanwhile, Noxera, again, a little bit too aggro, gets taken down, but is it going to be enough? Suitor finally gets taken down by the Cho'Gath, and Tough Daddy picks up a third. GGs are called out, and Red Team wins.
Yeah, wow, that was a great series. Probably the closest one we've had here tonight. Back and forth, really skilled gameplay. It was a joy to watch. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that that's what we got to close out with.
Yeah, I agree. Well played by both teams. Both teams tried their best. Unfortunately, only one team can win. And overall, statement game from Tough Daddy.
Yeah, Tough Daddy really popping off. Played really well with the jungler. Kudos to both junglers. I know that you look at the score now if you're just tuning in, and Sir Jackson is 677, but don't let that fool you. Sir Jackson was really really important for his team. Had a great impact all across the map, and I think everyone played pretty well overall. It's just ultimately Tough Daddy decided to put the team on his back and take over the game. I hope you all enjoyed this showcase. I hope you guys watched Team Ambition and the CCS one. I think CSCS is still going, but it's about to end. I just watched Easy get 100-0 in less than half a second. So hurry over fast if you want to finish watching that. But other than that, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everybody that came and participated, and hopefully some of you guys find homes if that's what you're looking for. And for the rest of you, I hope you're happy showing off your skills and having fun. And same time tomorrow, 7, we're going to hold the Diamond Showcase where my fellow caster that I had right now is going to be participating himself. Mr. Alex Carino will be taking the Rift, and we will get to criticize his gameplay instead this time around.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Have a good night, and we're gonna head out. Make sure you guys go to the Discord for the combine to see stats and any other information. Maybe some players you want to reach out to after their performances. Go and head over, and have a good night.